Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome to the sixth element of hip hop. I'm your host, Reno Noir. This is my co host, Raw Talk. What's good?
What's going down? What's happening? Happy
It
Batman Day.
Word, it is definitely Batman Day. It is the 85th year that man has been, that character's been around, man, since the fucking 30s, dog.
Yo.
Crazy.
And yo, I go back to watch the old serials on Tubi and stuff like that because they have them. Yo,
Right?
those joints are dope too. When they be fighting and everything, that they be going hard back then, man. I'm like, I like this.
Hell yeah. And
Yeah.
yeah, man, it's a beautiful thing, man, because here we are. This is our show on Saturdays. We do DC Power Hour. We talk DC Comics exclusively, and Batman Day fell on DC Power Hour Day, so that's serendipity right there. Plus,
Hey,
we just had the debut of the phenomenal, dope
pig.
as fuck Penguin show. It's Sopranos meets Batman.
Yo. I can't even say it's the Sopranos meet Batman. I just think it's of all on its own. Soprano is dope,
Of
but
course, it's
this
not like
this is this right here, man. This is whoa. And I just got finished watching it, so I'm amped up to the core. I just
yeah,
got finished watching it because I had time, and I was like, yo, let me before we jump on. And I know it's Batman Day and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, cool.
the reason we say it's like Sopranos is just because it's an HBO show.
Yeah,
It's mafia based,
yeah.
and the Penguin is kind of a Tony Soprano type character, but so much more, so much crazier, so much Batman
Unhinged,
here. Yeah, man,
unhinged.
definitely comic book inspired for sure. Um, if you're watching it from a perspective of a fan of The Sopranos or Goodfellas or mafia stuff, you're gonna be picking shit up. You're gonna be like, "Oh, that's not authentic. He wouldn't do that." Blah, blah, blah. Don't do that. Don't go into it like that. Go into it. You're watching a comic book on film. That's how you got to watch it, and it hits the mark, man. It's phenomenal. So we're
It
gonna chop that up for sure.
hell yeah. I mean, that's damn, man. Yo, even Falcone's daughter, like the whole thing was set out totally dope. Totally dope. I every moment was like a good watch. There was not a
Mhm.
part in it. Yo, I love the Penguin's mom. Straight
Oh
off.
yeah, she's
Straight
crazy.
off.
She's crazy.
She ain't no joke. She's
Yeah,
on
bro.
some ride or die for real.
Facts. Yeah, she definitely Ma Barker.
Yeah, man. She did.
Mm-hmm.
What? You what? You gonna run? What?
You gonna be a pussy boy?
Yeah, you a pussy what?
You gonna be a pussy boy? Nah, you're mine. You're
Yeah,
my
word.
word. My son ain't finna go out like no sucker. Or
Word.
she. But yeah, man, we're gonna definitely dissect the series, man, the show, because it's looking really good so far. And but yeah, man, let's get into this Batman stuff, man, because listen, I got all the Batman toys, memorabilia, comic books, all that stuff we're gonna show. And
Even the weed shirt, the Batman weed shirt.
let me see that. Hold on. Nice.
You know what I'm saying? Always keep it.
Okay, it's got weed like buds and shit.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Hell yeah. Oh man. So yeah, man, I just wanted to start off with the beginning. You know what I'm saying? Let's start from the jump and talk about Batman's history, the original first iteration, where it all began. And yeah, as Batman marks his 85th anniversary in comics and entertainment, you'd have to imagine that he's proud of all he's achieved. And if Batman were one to allow himself to feel something so self-congratulatory as pride or enjoyment, which we know Bruce Wayne don't do, but Bruce may have intended his costume to strike terror into the hearts of criminals, but it's done something far more powerful within those of us who don't live outside the law exclusively. It's captured our hearts and minds. It's intrigued us. And since his debut, Batman has transcended the realm of comics to become one of the more popular pop culture characters, period, in all of entertainment, right? And he's graced the large screen, the small screen, numerous times, movies, TV, animation, video games, obviously merchandise, toys, and
Yeah.
everything. We've seen him on logos on T-shirts, hoodies, shoes, hats, leggings, just about every article of clothing,
Face.
jewelry, word, tattoos. He's inspired many toys, free fast food giveaways, high-end collectibles, and everything in between. And he's shown up on pretty much every product imaginable. They probably got toothpaste dispensers
Yes.
with Batman. So there's everything, and he's been the subject of documentary films, college studies, art shows. He's inspired memes, comedy sketches, parodies. Obviously, as well as movies and other characters. And he's launched his own unofficial holiday and inspired thousands of cosplayers worldwide. Batman transcends his role of a superhero. Now he's part of a shared culture and awareness. He's a household name, and people who know Batman, that no matter their age, interests, gender, whatever, culture, background, nationality, regardless of whether or not they follow comics or superpowered heroes, they know who the fuck Batman is. And
Yeah.
you know, it's a remarkable, unrivaled 80-year journey that began very simply. That its beginnings were very lackluster. It was not known that this guy was gonna, be a thing. And when the first guy that Bruce or Bob Kane that first thought him up, the first sort of iteration looked a lot more like Alan Scott Green Lantern than the Batman we've got. You have to include Bill Finger when you're talking about the creation of Batman.
Bill
He is
Finger.
the guy that gave us the look that we know. Bob Kane did come up with the idea, but that's about it. Like, Bill Finger gets no fucking love, and this is the guy that drew and gave us and invented rogues like Batman or Joker, Penguin, Riddler, shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
But Bill Finger, man, and 1939 DC Comics was definitely looking for a new superhero, a character who could build on the wild success of their earlier comic book phenomenon, Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And the editor, Vin Sullivan, turned to what then appeared to be an unlikely creative source, was a gag cartoonist named Bob Kane, and he asked him to design a new hero. So Bob Kane, along with writer Bill Finger, go on to conceive one of the most popular and enduring characters of the 20th century, Batman himself. And the very first Batman story was called "The Case of the Chemical Syndicate," and it was written by Bill Finger, drawn by Bob Kane. It
Mm-hmm.
was published in the Detective Comics number 27, which hit newsstands on March 30th, 1939. And the cover date actually says May 1939 as an error, but in the first story, Batman was introduced as an uninteresting socialite, Bruce Wayne. Then he would don his iconic costume and become a merciless crime fighter who killed bad guys with a pistol. Like, he didn't care. Like, he would kill him. He didn't care. He just got rid of him. A fitting end for his kind, Batman announced after knocking a criminal into a vat of acid. And that criminal did not become Joker, but that origin story definitely tied into his arch nemesis later. But it was a markedly different Cape Crusader at the time than the one we know now, a noir tinged street level do-gooder who has who was more than willing to get his hands dirty in the interest of the greater good. But even in his earliest story, which is only 6 pages long, his mind for justice was definitely present, as was his secret identity was a big deal. And unknown to his good friend Commissioner Gordon at the time, who also makes his debut in the first story. Detective Comics number 27, despite being continually reprinted, continues to be one of the most highly sought after comics among collectors and fans. And a copy of Detective Comics number 27 sold for over $1 million in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
And In 1939, it sold for 10 cents, but it moved enough copies to merit more stories, featuring Batman that gave us the character that we know and love today. But um, let me see if I can. Let me see if this image will show up, and I don't think it will, but this is really cool shot of the. No, it's not going to show up. Well, I tell you, Batman had his utility belt for the very first time to store glass pellets that he filled with gas in Detective Comics number 29. He shot the glass bullets that would pop open and gas would come out. And the first boomerang like type batarang and the first bat themed vehicle was the Bat Gyro, which was a has a helicopter blade and came out in Detective Comics number 31 in September of 1939. The Bat Gyro was replaced by the Bat Plane, which appeared in the first Batman number 1 in March 1940. And then, of course, came the Bat Wing later. And Batman's tragic origin story, in which a mugger guns down Bruce Wayne's parents as the family walking home from a movie through Crime Alley, was introduced 6 months after the debut in 1933. So the comic did not start with his origin. And the seemingly simple origin would definitely continue to be explored and mined for emotional depth, for decades and decades to come, and future iterations and stories and whatnot. But the origin has evolved. The murder of his parents, Martha and Thomas Wayne, is probably one of the most replayed scenes in comic books. Redone in comics, redone in movies. Just redone. And it's because it's an important moment, since it led to Bruce's creation of Batman. When you tell the story of Batman, you have to tell why this billionaire risks his life every night dressing up in a costume and goes out and fights crime, without a gun. And why would he do that? How would someone get to the point where they would do that? And so that's why that origin is so important, because it kind of explains why a man might do this. Most people, if their parents get killed, don't become costume vigilantes, but this is comics. So in comics, this is a very valid reason to do that. And, but that moment does evolve, like I said, and we all know about their stroll through Crime Alley after seeing The Mask of Zorro, which evolved, right? That's come out, and the shattered pearl necklace, that imagery we've seen so many times, but this wasn't always in an alley. And that, in some versions, Martha wasn't even shot. Everything from Bruce's age when his parents' deaths occurred to the movie that they were seeing just prior to the event have evolved over the years, and definitely we've gotten some different versions. And in 1939, the first time we did see it, Detective Comics number 33, his origin is such a huge part of his mythology. It's kind of hard to believe that we didn't get this until the 7th appearance, because a lot of times, they'll give you the origin off top. But here, the origin that we first get is 2 pages long. It's 5 panels devoted to the Wayne murders. And although this moment has been retold many times, most of what we see in those first 5 panels has remained. It's just been added on to. But for example, we're told that the family is on their way home from a movie. The mugger asks for Mrs. Wayne's necklace, and she wasn't called Martha yet, causing Thomas to fight back. Both are gunned down before Bruce's eyes. That doesn't change. And it's interesting to note that what hadn't been established yet, the mugger and Mrs. Wayne are both unnamed, but that's not the case with Thomas, and we don't know what movie the Waynes were seeing at that time, and Crime Alley isn't named yet, thank God. And in fact, the artwork makes it appear that the Waynes were shot on a city sidewalk, not in an alley at all, right? And so the broken pearl imagery is also not there yet. And since, this is where Batman's origin was born, making it one of the most important comic book sequences of all time, and definitely a pricey book. It changes again in 1948 in Batman's own comic, number 47 of Batman's comic. And before I chop that up, check out this image of the OG book. This is the OG origin of Batman right here. So this is the first time we ever saw. Here it is. Batman, eerie figure of the night, nemesis of crime. So here it says Legend of Batman. Some 15 years ago, Thomas Wayne, his wife, and son were walking home from a movie. Well, what is this? A stick up, buddy. I'll take that necklace you're wearing, lady. And leave
Hmm.
her alone, you. Oh, you asked for it. And Thomas, you've killed him. Help, police, help. This'll shut you up. And then shoots her. And that's it. Like, that's it. Then we get the next version, 1947, 1948 rather, Batman number 47. And believe it or not, this is the first time that Batman's origin story is ever retold again. What is this? Like a decade later, right? Yeah, it's about 10 years later. It's the first time it's told again. And these days we might not be able to escape the ceremonial gunning down of the Waynes, but that original origin story was the only one that we got for nearly 10 years. And there just was all this speculation and what movie were they seeing? And what's the mom's name? And did they kill the mom? And like all this stuff. And it's worth noting that the original story got a reprint in 1940's Batman number 1. But that was just a reprint of the first origin. The first time it was told in Detective Comics. The first time it's retold is Batman number 47, and in it, Martha Wayne is named for the first time, but the circumstances of her death are changed. So the editors at DC's thought that having a woman gunned down in front of her child was just too severe, and so instead, Martha died on the spot where her weak heart stopped from sudden shock after seeing her husband murdered. I don't know if that's less severe.
Yeah,
It
right.
doesn't feel like it, but that's what they went with. And notably, the murderer of the Waynes was identified as Joe Chill for the first time. And then, once again, the artwork depicts the murder happening on a city sidewalk. This is still not in an alley yet. And you can see a car driving by in one panel. So it's definitely like on the side of the road, on the side of the street, on the sidewalk, leaving the movie. And I always wondered, why the fuck would these rich people take their son walking down a goddamn alley, especially one named Crime Alley? But what are you
Not
gonna
to
do?
cut you off. There's another one. I believe I showed this book before. The Untold Legend of the Batman, and from 1982, written by Lynn Wein and illustrated by Jim Aparo, Aparo and John Byrne. And this has it where Thomas Wayne was the first Batman as a crime fighter.
Oh wow.
Yes, and the mother knew that he would go out and fight crime.
Yeah.
That's his part time as a doctor. So they
What
were
year? What year was that one?
1982.
Okay.
Yeah. So what happened is, while Bruce Wayne's father was fighting crime and stuff, he was beating down mobsters. The only thing that got him shot and his wife shot in that alley was him testifying against the mobsters.
Oh, that's why they killed him in that one.
That's why they killed him. And
So
this
they
is
actually hunted him down and shit. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah. I mean, it evolves. It changes a lot.
mhm.
It changes a lot of times. We get all these different versions and shit. And but it's great. It's great. I love it. I love it. They're awesome.
Crazy. See that
They're awesome.
illustration right here? My man said blam.
Blam.
Oh man,
Nice.
wild down.
Nice.
Yeah, man. So
Yeah.
Batman is
It's a nice full page.
yeah, man. It's a good story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The The this was the first time it's been in, and look, they actually said blam in this one too.
Yeah, wow.
That's
Straight
funny.
blam.
Blammed him. What is it? At police headquarters, Commissioner Gordon secures quick information. The report says the new LSA owner bought out the old owner, fired the old truckers, and hired a new staff. The owner's name is Joe Chill. Here's a radio photo of him. And Batman looks at the photo. That face. After all these years, it's he, the face of the man who killed my parents, he thinks. And Batman's thoughts whirl him back to a vivid night many years before, a night when he was walking with his parents, Thomas and Martha Wayne. We get her name for the first time. And then this is Stick Up, I'll take that necklace you're wearing, lady. Oh, no, not my necklace. She says, you hoodlum, don't you dare put a hand on my wife. She says, Thomas. He says, maybe you'll keep quiet now. Blam. Uh,
Keep
and then he
quiet.
thinks, word. That single bullet really killed two people. For Martha Wayne's heart attack, or sorry, Martha Wayne's weak heart stopped from the sudden shock. So yeah, for some reason they felt it was better for her to have a heart attack of it, based on it, rather than being shot. And Bruce says, "They're dead. You killed them. You killed my mother and father." And then Joe says, "Stop looking at me like that." And then you see his
Mm,
eyes bulge out, or no, they kind of take center stage. And I think this is where we're seeing Bruce remembering the eyes of the killer.
mm,
And he says something about young Bruce's eyes made the killer retreat. They were accusing eyes that memorized his every feature, eyes that would never forget. Oh,
mm.
whatever. It's crazy.
Yeah. Now,
Um,
see, if you go back to that panel with the muggy, when he said, "This will shut you up," right?
mhm,
This will
mhm.
keep you quiet. So I believe they were pulling from that source of the untold legend around that. I mean, it's weird how they have these stories and they
Yeah,
could decide on which one, but they all pull from some source that they probably had shelved, but they drew from. So
yeah,
you know what I mean? Because it's
yeah.
like, why was he keep quiet this time? What did he talk about beforehand?
See, so in the first scene, it's Martha screaming, "Thomas, you've killed him! Help! Help! Police! Help!" And he's like, "This will shut you up," because she's yelling for the police. That's
Yeah,
why he's gonna shoot her to shut her up.
yeah.
And then in this iteration, you hoodlum, don't you dare put a hand on my wife. And he's going kind of towards him, and he says, maybe you'll keep quiet now. And he shoots him. And this one, he's saying it to Thomas in this one.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And then we've got, I guess this is a telling of it. So, Detective Comics number 235 in 1956, Batman learns that the murder of his parents wasn't a random robbery. A mobster named Lou Moxon had hired Joe Chill to assassinate the couple. And this is an element of the origin that has persisted off and on over the years, depending on the continuity. In some versions, the Waynes are deliberately targeted. Fox's Gotham is a good example, and other versions continue to portray it as a random robbery. Batman '89 with Keaton, it was a random robbery. Then in the show Gotham, it was a targeted thing. And here's the comic where they first made it that he's like, "Wow, even though we didn't have training in fighting crooks, your father pulled a typical Batman stunt. My father was quite a guy." The diary continues. At his trial, Moxon was sentenced to 10 years for armed robbery. And he says, "You did this to me. I'll get you for this, Wayne. I'll get you."
Mhm.
And then he says, 10 years rolled by. I'd invested my savings wisely and became wealthy. I'd almost forgotten Moxon until today. Moxon free. Yeah, I served my 10 years in jail. You were going to, where you put me. I swore I'd get you, and I will. And he says, but I'm too smart to do it myself. The police would arrest me on suspicion fast. I'll get someone else to do it for me. And he says, here the diary ends. This means Joe Chill only pretended to be a holdup man. Actually, he was Moxon's hired killer. Moxon must have ordered Chill not to kill me, so not to kill me too, so I'd be alive to testify that my parents were killed by a robber.
Mm.
And so very intricate. And then 1959, a couple of years later, in Detective Comics 265. This time around, the Wayne murders occurred during the day. There's no mention of a movie theater, and the narration says that the Waynes are enjoying a stroll. Joe Chill seems to shoot the Waynes out of fear and panic when Tom resists the stick-up attempt. For the first time since 1939, Martha Wayne is shot, ignoring the previous heart attack retcon. And yeah, and they're here. This one, he says, "This is a stick up, mister. I'll take that necklace you're wearing, lady." So the same deal there. And Thomas says, "No, you won't." And then he's like, get back, blam, blam. And yeah, and then Bruce is going, "I promise that I'll dedicate my life to find and bring killer to justice and fight all crime too." And then we got the series in 1966 in Batman High Diddle Riddler, where the spiked wall is coming to kill Batman and Robin. And Bruce Wayne's parents are only mentioned once in the 1966 Adam West series. In the first episode, Bruce Wayne tells a colleague that his parents were murdered by dastardly criminals. Interestingly, this implies that more than one gunman was involved. Now, we jump to 68. This was a couple of years later in a comic, Batman number 200. And what they do here is we get another flashback to the Wayne murders, and the retelling goes back to the Martha died of a heart attack portrayal. So they keep going back and forth. And, you know, this is and you look at the times. Look at the times when this happened. So in the times where they made it, you know, at first where he gets shot, it's the 30s, you know.
On the brink of World War.
Right, and we're not thinking like that's no problem right now. But now we jump to after World War II, right, 1948, or in the midst of it, really. And the comics censorship code is getting ready to come out, I think, in like 2 years here, and so people are starting to get to more of a point where they want things to be a little less violent. And then the 50s, this is during the comics code, so they don't even really show anyone getting shot in this one. It's just a picture of him with the gun saying blam blam. And then we jump to the 60s. Now we're up here in the 70s or 68.
Vietnam War.
Yep. Vietnam. 69. The Wayne murders are seen in another flashback. Once again, Martha dies of a heart attack, and we learn Joe Chill's mother, Mrs. Chilton, helped raise Bruce as penance for her son's actions. Bruce is unaware of her connection to his parents' murderer. So this is where they get really complex, and they show this woman here, Mrs. Chilton, and this is kind of the woman that raised Bruce. In this iteration, it wasn't Alfred. And then they show the flashback of the murder of his parents getting killed and all that, and then they go down and they say, Mrs. Chill saying, "I had 2 sons, but they're grown now. It will be nice having a boy around again." And so we don't know. He doesn't know that Mrs. Chilton is Joe Chill's mother, and she raises him out of pity or, guilt that her son killed his parents. And here's Ra's al Ghul. I love this iteration, man. This is cool. 1971, Bruce flashes back to the murder of his parents. According to him, the shooting occurred in the summer, and Martha Wayne is shot again in this version. Her heart attack angle is dropped in all subsequent retellings. The last time the heart attack happened was 1969, which, yeah, that was it. And then, who is this? This is, and they didn't say what artist it was, but in this one, yeah, it's Ra's al Ghul talking to Batman, and he goes over it there with him, and then, oh wow, spider webs and shit. So here's a version in 1972 in the comic book Superboy number 182. Now, this comic is set in the aftermath of the Bruce Wayne murders, which, according to this story, takes place on November 25th. And in this version, Bruce Wayne is a high school student where he becomes an orphan, and Bruce believes that the Zodiac Killer is the one that gunned down his parents. Yes, really, until Superboy convinces him that it was just a random robbery. He's like, how stupid can you get? If there's an assassin on the prowl, you might end up his next victim. You're asking for it. You don't scare me. I'll catch that murderer if it takes a lifetime. He's the one who killed my parents, remember? The day after my parents' slaying, I returned to the scene, searching for a clue to the killer. The Waynes died on November 25th under the sign of Sagittarius. See this? The Zodiac killer left his mark.
Mm.
So, yeah, this is right around the time after the Zodiac killings. So,
Yeah, and
it's
potatoes and stuff like that. Yeah.
yeah. Now here's a cool version. This is a retelling sort of in black and white. In 1976, we learned the name of the street where the Waynes lost their life. Blah. This is 1976. This is the first time it's called Crime Alley. A
Mm,
stupid thing, I think. I hated that. I hated that. I don't like it. Crime Alley.
mhm.
The fuck is that?
Well, you know what Crime Alley is based off of New York City's it was what is it street? It's a street that was a crime alley, literally. Mulberry Street, 33rd, 33 and a third Mulberry Street. It's a small little alley, and that was what that was based off of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Mulberry Street was like an Italian. That was like a gangster. That was like a big mafia. Like a
Mhm.
lot of mafia people, a lot of mafioso lived there,
Yeah.
and that's where
Yep.
the social clubs were and shit.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
But you couldn't, if you wasn't from that area, you couldn't go down that alley because
Oh
you
hell
would be
no.
met with straight up
Yeah.
violence.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Crime Alley. So in Detective Comics number 457, it establishes that Crime Alley was once a prosperous neighborhood called Park Row. But over the years, it became a cesspool of crime, earning the infamous nickname. And this issue also establishes a key piece of Batman lore. After the death of his parents, Bruce was found and comforted by a kindly old woman named Leslie Tompkins. At this time in the story, Leslie was not yet a doctor. She was unaware of Bruce's double life. And in this comic also establishes Bruce's tradition of making an annual pilgrimage to Crime Alley and the anniversary of his parents' death. And the cover depicts Bruce kneeling to his parents' bodies under the streetlight. The iconic imagery would be repeated many times, including in Batman Year One.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's that Blam again. They love to use Blam. So Blam is they're going to stick with Blam on that. 1981. Yeah, man. A gun goes Blam. What do they mention Brando here? Good movie, eh, Martha? That Marlon Brando sure is. It's called a stick up, buddy. I'll take that necklace your lady's wearing. What is this? You hoodlum. Don't you dare put your hand on my wife. Maybe now you'll keep quiet. Bam. Oh, sorry, blam. Then he clicks and then we'll shut you up, lady. Blam. Father, mother, they're dead. You killed them. Stop looking at me like that, kid. Stop looking at me. The killer named Joe Chill flees. Bruce's parents do not move. They will never move again. Yeah, and Bruce breaks down and starts to scream. In this milestone issue establishes that Bruce Wayne was 8 years old when his parents were shot. So the first time we get his age. And prior to this, no specific age was given, although subsequent comments would sometimes give alternate ages. 8 has largely become the accepted age in the Batman canon. We still aren't told what movie the Waynes family saw yet, but it does compliment Marlon Brando's performance. And this comic was published in 1981, and we're told the shooting happened 20 years ago. The only Marlon Brando movie released in 1961 was One-Eyed Jacks. So unless this was a re-release, that's the film they saw. 1984, Batman Special Number 1. The special opens with a flashback to the Wayne murders. According to narration, the death of the Waynes occurred on June 26th. The date has changed quite a bit. The date's gone around a lot
Brother's
of stuff.
birthday.
No, right?
Yeah, that's crazy funny.
Well, um, I think this is the Jim Lee one here.
Yeah.
No, let's see, 1984. Batman and the Outsiders number 13. In order to snap Batman out of a trance, the Outsiders disguise themselves as Bruce's parents and Joe Chill and reenact the Wayne murders. Yes, this is a very dubious plan. However, it does reveal on the night of the shooting that the Waynes took Bruce to a double feature. So the question isn't what movie did Bruce see, rather which movies, at least for now.
Mhm.
And let's see where. There it says, "Here, son, jump up. This is the last time we take you to a double feature." And then we got the cartoon, 1985 Super Friends
Mm.
classic.
Yep, the fear.
Yep, The Fear.
Hmm.
This was the first time the death of the Waynes was depicted in any form of Batman media outside of the comics. After being infected with the Scarecrow's fear gas, Batman flashes back to the murder of his parents. It doesn't help that Scarecrow makes his escape through Crime Alley, forcing Batman to stand in the spot where his life fell apart or began and where Batman was created. Super Friends was an animated show for the children, so the scene was heavily censored. We never see Joe Chill's gun during the murder, and the gunshot sounds are drowned out by the thunderstorm in the background. And for the first time, we learn definitively what movie the Waynes were watching. Robin Hood in this one. And speaking of Robins, this episode implies that Dick Grayson was unaware of the Wayne murders. The flashback is also the first time that Alfred is depicted in Bruce's childhood as Bruce's childhood guardian. So this is the first time that we start seeing Alfred raising young Master Bruce following the parents' murder, something the comics would adapt in the post-crisis era, the Crisis on Infinite Earths era. Um, so that actually came from a cartoon. Batman. There's a couple things that come from the cartoon and get put into the comics. Harley Quinn as a character is one.
Yeah. She was only made for the cartoon.
Right.
Yeah.
Now here's Frank Miller. I recognize that art anywhere.
Yeah,
There's Frank Miller.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And this is Dark Knight Returns #1, 1986. Miller's classic storyline not only reinvented Batman, but also reinvented Batman's origin. In this take, the Waynes go to see The Mark of Zorro. And this is the film that would be used in most versions of Batman's origin going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Now, The Dark Knight Returns is also the first retelling that shows Martha Wayne's pearl necklace shattering and the individual pearls falling on the floor. Give that to Frank Miller, my man. He's the one that came up with that iconic iconography imagery. And the tragic imagery would become an important part of the origin story going forward. Man. The Mark of Zorro, my bad. And that's kind of implying that Bruce kind of got his ideas there. Now, as a kid, I always thought that the Joker killed Batman's parents because in 1989, when I was 9 or 10 years old, that's what I saw in the movie. I wasn't reading comics yet at 9 or 10 years old. And the Batman movie, 1989, we see the Wayne murders depicted in live action for the first time. Shortly before the shooting, the Waynes are seen exiting the Monarch Theater, which is named for the first time. Famously, the movie made some controversial changes to the origin, presenting Jack Napier, the future Joker, as the Waynes killer. It's also the first version of the origin where the killer had an accomplice. According to producer Michael Uslan, the other mugger was meant to be Joe Chill. Interesting twist there. So basically, in Tim Burton's 1989 live action version of Batman, Joe Chill is there, but they add Jack Napier into the mix, who pulls the trigger and says the iconic line, "You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?" That we see come later in the movie. And Bruce is like, "Oh, you're that fucking guy." And he doesn't quite click and know who he is at the time, but he remembers later. And that's when the Joker says, "You made me." And he says, "Well, you made me." And, so they kind of made each other literally in the movie. That was a cool dynamic that I, at the time, had no idea. And I think a lot of kids and a lot of people who didn't read comics, that wasn't always the way it was. We didn't know. So very interesting there. And then, of course, we hop back over to the iconic cover of the Detective Comics number 678, where we actually see, Bruce and his parents with Batman laid out and Joe Chill running off in the distance. And Bruce Wayne travels back in time thanks to Zero-Hour crossover event. The night of his parents' murder, he learns that Joe Chill had been laid up in bed due to heavy drug use, making it impossible for him to be the killer. Remember, this is after Jack Napier was the killer. So they start doing stuff with the origin here. And this was driven by the creative decision to have Wayne's killer be an anonymous gunman rather than Chill, taking away whatever closure identifying the parents' murderer gave Bruce. So they wanted him to just not know and have it be this completely unsolved crime that drove him, right,
his
to
anger.
Paul's murders. Right.
Yeah.
So and this idea was abandoned later with future versions of the origin going back to Chill as the mugger. To make a point, they never did go back to Tim Burton's 89 Batman is the only place where the Joker kills Bruce's parents. So if you thought that was really the origin, only in that movie. The 2004's The Batman, an animated joint episode called Traction, flashes back to the night of the Wayne murders after the death of his parents. Bruce is tended to by Jim Gordon during the days of the police career. The film Batman Begins, the television series of Gotham, built on this idea, presenting Jim Gordon as one of the first responders to the Wayne shooting, kind of a la the show Dexter. You know, Dexter, where his dad finds him in the trailer in the blood and raises him to be this vigilante killer.
Yeah.
Same thing here.
Killer who kills killers.
Yep. And here we go. Batman Begins. We go back to Christopher Nolan. Gives a new take on the origin. Instead of seeing a movie, the Waynes went to see an opera, specifically Mephistopheles. And the bat costumes in the opera frightened Bruce, and he asked his parents if they could leave early. And because they left early, this gave a new wrinkle to the origin, making Bruce feel guilty because if he wasn't afraid of the bats, his parents wouldn't have left the opera early and they wouldn't have been killed. Yeah. So that gives his, and then he wants to conquer that bat fear. And then we see him in the well and the bats. And so wearing the bat costume and becoming the bat is kind of his way to overcome that fear and use that against others. Because remember, in Christopher Nolan's version of Batman, fear is a huge character in the movie. Him using fear against the villains is really sort of focused on, whereas like in 89's, you know, in the Keaton 89 Batman, it's sort of mentioned that these criminals are like, there's this, you know, scary bat out there, but it's not really focused on that he's using fear as a weapon. We don't hear that as much. And in this movie, in this series, it's definitely like they
in the 89 Batman was more practical with using his basically his ingenuity and his
gadgets.
His gadgets. There you go. The gadgets made but I think with 89 it was more those gadgets was put it up front due to merchandising. You know
Yeah.
For the most part, but we all know, you know, the Batman needs no real gadgets if he's really handling crime the way he, you know, sees fit.
He's a ninja. He uses a ninja uses his surroundings, so it don't matter what they got. But 2014's Gotham. This show was, it pissed me off because like I'm a Batman fan. I'm not, and I like these rogues, but like I don't feel any of them really gave me the feeling, the vibe they did that they should. They didn't come across as the characters that they should be. And like, why are all these characters around and Batman is this little kid? Yeah. Like when is that when has that ever been part of the story where these villains, these rogues, Penguin and all these dudes are out here operating while Bruce is still fucking like a teenager, like a little kid? And you know, he starts to grow up, but honestly, I felt it was a weird take that didn't really work for me as a Batman fan. It was Batman content, sort of, so I watched it because I'm a Batman fan, but I felt that I was missing Batman in that.
Yeah.
Which by the way, Is not the case with the Penguin show that we're going to talk about here shortly. In
Yep.
that motherfucker, I don't miss Batman.
Nope.
Not not at all. So
Yep.
we're gonna get in.
Penguin.
But yeah, man. In the Gotham show though, they do the origin of Batman gave its own version, and it says that the killer wore a mask, even giving the show a mystery that would span multiple seasons. And the series also added Selena Kyle as a witness to the crime, who was watching unseen from a nearby rooftop
Mhm.
for whatever reason. And as the series progressed, it was revealed that Patrick Malone had shot the Waynes after being hired by Dr. Hugo Strange, who had been taking orders from the Court of Owls
Yeah.
under the direction of the League of Assassins and Ra's al Ghul. So it got very complicated, super convoluted, and just like, really, guys, like, come on, you're just trying to fucking add everybody in.
Yeah.
But here we go. Teen Titans. This is a fun one. They do actually redo the thing, and it says in the Titans joint, traveling back to the night of the Wayne murder, the Titans warn the family about the dangers of Crime Alley. This is a crime alley, you dum-dums, Cyborg says. May I suggest you take a shortcut through Happy Lane instead? Starfire suggests the Waynes take advice preventing the murders of the creation of Batman. That's what I'm talking about. Like, who the fuck's gonna walk their kid down Crime Alley? Get the fuck out. But by the way, this time around the Waynes are seeing a double feature: The Mark of Zorro and Beware the Gray Ghost. And perhaps this is what Batman and the Outsiders 13 was talking about. And this is it. But I just want to point out, everybody complains about the Teen Titans. They really did know their comic shit. Like,
Yeah.
they wouldn't. It was not a show just like completely just like a cartoon where they use these characters that we know and just make completely unrelated content. No, they really did make satire about the comics, and it was real comic, actual accurate shit. I mean, look, they took the double feature part, which came from like a comic book that was not in any movies, so only a comic fan would know about the double feature aspect. And then
Yeah.
they used the Mark of Zorro, which again is from a comic. So very cool. And after realizing the world needs heroes, the Titans go back into time to undo their original interference. Raven places a beautiful pearl necklace around Martha's neck. Robin pushes a couple into Crime Alley, and we hear their terrified screams as Robin smiles and Bruce Wayne looks on in horror. And listen,
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
they had to let Batman, be created, because they knew if they didn't do that, would be no Batman.
There wouldn't be no Robin.
And where would we be?
Yeah.
Look at De Niro in the background. Put on
Yeah.
a happy face. So yeah, 2019's Joker actually had its own version of the origin. The family attempts to escape the carnage by walking through a seemingly deserted alley, but a radicalized man in a clown mask spots them and opens fire. It's interesting to note that the robbery wasn't the motivating factor this time, and like that in 1989's Batman, the Joker is responsible for Batman's birth, albeit more indirectly. So here, yeah, it is like the Joker did make Batman in this version, so that is a cool kind of throwback there.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't him directly that did the shooting, but it was him that inspired the shooter. Then we got Harley Quinn.
I wanted to. I'm sorry. I wanted
No,
to
you good.
go back to the Robert De Niro painting. Even though Robert De Niro was in that movie, he was actually one of the people that was before Jack Nicholson was asked to see if he wanted to be the Joker.
Oh, to play the Joker, yeah.
Yes, he was one of the top guys. It was between him and what you call it?
Nicholson, yeah.
Yes, and then I forget there was two others, but they were the top two because one, De Niro, could play a mobster type,
Right.
but he can also go there with the maniacal madman if he wanted to.
And he was as big a star as Jack Nicholson.
Yes.
They wanted a mega star, and they wanted the big draw to be the villain, because Keaton was no one had faith in as Batman. He was a comedian. He had only been in comedies, and people were like, "What?" Like, they were expecting,
And De Niro said he didn't want to play a clown.
right.
He did not want to be a clown. It
Right.
was weird.
No, yeah, and
Yeah, He didn't
he
want
had.
that on his resume.
I'm glad that fucking Nicholson did it because I wouldn't, it's one of my favorite iterations.
Yeah,
It made me a fan. Like it made me a fan of the character. Like Joker's still to this day
yeah.
easily one of my favorite villains, top 3 for
And
sure.
it's ironic that he's in the Joker as a host of a show,
Right.
and it was like, oh wow, you know what I mean? So you
Mhm.
decided to do this instead of being the clown. You was in a clown's movie
Right.
per se. So
Right.
it's kind of weird, you know.
Well, and then De Niro played a comedian
Yes.
in a movie too. A talk show host or a comedian in a movie I think called The Comedian or some shit. And
Yeah.
Todd Phillips took a lot of inspiration from that movie in making Joker.
Yeah. 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 So that's pretty cool lore and with all this stuff, man.
Hell
Is
yeah.
very interesting.
Absolutely, man. Batman is the dopest, man. I
Oh,
don't give a damn. Um,
and them for Bob Kane and what's I keep forgetting his name.
Bill Finger.
Yeah, Bill Finger. For them to come up with that character, you think everybody was looking towards Superman, a guy in the sky, a superhero that's can't be defeated or whatever. But
Right.
they were trying to get people to look at the normal everyday man, so to speak, with no
Right.
powers, but using his human mind and his ingenuity and his smarts and his skill.
Right.
And he created a really complex vigilante because he, after all, that's what he is. He's a vigilante.
Mhm.
I mean, but more complex. And to not trigger the regular average day guy to be a vigilante, they added the millionaire aspect later on. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So that
Yep.
was smart of them, so it quelled a lot of
Mm.
things in that way,
Mm.
because there was a time where you had a lot of different scares going along, and like even the red scare
Right.
during that time. So
Right.
you had people who wanted to be vigilantes,
Yeah.
fight for the country against communism and the Red Scare. So that's why, they added the billionaire aspect, the millionaire, or what have you.
Mm. Mm. Right. That's dope. That's deep.
Yeah,
That's
bro.
deep. That's them. That's Bill Finger right here and Bob Kane drawing and coming up with the joint created in 1939. Bob Kane and Bill Finger.
Mhm.
Inspired the popular DC comic Superman in 1939. Kane saw an opportunity to replicate the success. He drew an inspiration from the Zorro film in 1920s, The Mark of Zorro. So, we go back to the origin of Batman and the Waynes coming out of the movie The Mark of Zorro, which is not
Mhm.
only what I was saying was Bruce's inspiration, but was actually, you know, the inspiration for creating the character.
Yes.
Douglas Fairbanks Sr., Leonardo da Vinci's drawings as well, the bat, stuff like that, and the 1937 film called The Bat
Bat Whispers.
Whisperers,
Yes.
conceiving a superhero character in the same league as Superman, whom he called the Batman. And Kane's version of the Batman wore a red jumpsuit and a
Mhm.
domino mask and had two rigid bat wings attached to his back, like that you would have seen in Leonardo da Vinci's drawings, like he made like wings for like a man to fly. And this
Yes.
is it. That's the original Batman.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
Bob
That's
Kane.
the first one.
So if you want to give Bob Kane the credit for creating Batman, there's your Batman by Bob Kane.
Yeah. And note to McFarlane, you need to make that happen as well.
Ooh.
That would be super ultimately dope.
Ooh.
Make that a uranium
Ooh.
edition. Very
Wow.
rare. Whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
That'd
saying?
be crazy. That'd be
That'd be
crazy.
wild.
Well, here's what McFarlane is gonna give us, or is giving us. I ordered 2 of these, but I'm gonna show you those in a second. Speaking of McFarlane, but yes, Kane, realizing he needed some help with the design of his new character, enlisted the help of Bill Finger, whom was already working with a comic strip called Rusty and Pal. Finger first changed the Batman's costume by making his suit darker and adding the cowl and a scalloped cape and gloves. He also made the eye slits on the mask empty rather than showing eyes. Yes. Finger also gave Batman his secret alter ego identity as Bruce Wayne, and he conceptualized the character as a rich playboy by day, and by night a vigilante who fought injustice from the shadows. So again, if you ask me, Bill Finger created Batman.
Yes.
Fuck out of here.
Ultimately, it was Bill Finger.
And yes, and there's
He
his
created
design. I mean,
that modern
that's
day Batman, let's say, because he was the one who drove Batman forward rather than keeping him in
he
the
created
old.
Batman as we know him.
Yes,
The
as
bat
we know.
suit,
Yes.
the playboy by day, the rich billionaire Bruce Wayne. That's all his own. That's all his creation.
That cover's sick.
Dog, dog. You know what I'd kill for this an issue? This issue, or I'd pay $1 million for that shit.
Yeah, man. Hey, if I had hundreds of millions of dollars, yeah, I'll be having that comic.
Right.
Straight up.
You know, absolutely.
My personal, I would
Yep.
have to get that comic.
Oh yeah. If I
I'll
ever
read
got
it too as well.
what?
Read it first and then put it back.
Mm-hmm.
Straight up.
I know how to read it without fucking it up.
Yep.
Real
I'll
fucking
have
careful.
white gloves.
White gloves.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Magnifying
then-
glass, lights on, hella fucking clean environment. Fucking
Yep.
don't open it all the way.
Temperature. Yep.
Just open it a little bit of the ways. Yeah, man.
Well, put me in a pressure room or whatever you need to do.
Word.
In there and
Word.
read. And then when I'm finished, I'll put it up and then we'll encase it.
Word.
I would have to.
And not only did Bill Finger create Batman as we know him, he was also involved in the creation of Robin, the Joker, Penguin, Riddler, and Two-Face.
Yes.
Bill Finger also created Batman's hometown of Gotham. When I say Bill Finger created Batman, I'm telling you, without Bill Finger, Batman is this guy has nothing to do with Bruce Wayne, nothing to do with Gotham, nothing to do with the Joker, the Penguin, or anything we know. It's completely irrelevant. Go watch the movie called The Batman, The Bat Whisperers, and there's your guy. But no, Bill Finger created Batman, guys. And Gotham, and he tried a number of different names, including Civic City, Capital City, and Coastal City, which we know were used by the Flash and Green Lantern and other comics. So, which Bill Finger also helped with. Now, looking through a New York City phone book, he saw a name for a jeweler's store called the Gotham Jewelers and decided upon Gotham as Batman's hometown. Bill Finger actually wrote the first Batman story, while Kane provided the artwork that Bill Finger, told him to do to fit Finger's vision of the Batman character. So when Bob Kane takes credit for that, he's literally plagiarizing. He's literally lying. He's basically pulling a fucking Stan Lee on Jack Kirby.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Eventually, Bill Finger and fellow artist Jerry Robinson left Bob Kane's studio, where he refused their request for more recognition and a pay increase. Finger eventually ended up working directly for DC Comics. And there is a beautiful, the first issue there, Detective Comics 27, the first appearance of Batman, as drawn and created by Bill Finger. Bob Kane was savvy and loved the spotlight, just like Stan Lee. Following his lawyer father's advice, Kane gained sole credit for Batman and was negotiated with DC Comics when they offered to publish the Batman comics. Kane turned Batman into a very successful business for his studio by hiring writers and artists to help him with the ever-expanded demand for more stories. Unfortunately, just like Finger, they also went uncredited, and Kane received all the kudos.
Yeah, work for hire. They made Finger work for hire. That's how it goes. I mean, I feel his pain because that's what has been done to me before. So
yeah, man.
When you think you help building something and somebody take the rug right from under you, and you're like, damn, but I created it,
bro. They call it the Marvel method. That's the Marvel method. You create the shit, we put our name on it, we put it out.
Yeah, they say in court it's just business.
Yeah, but it's taking somebody's soul, somebody's creativity and shit, man. And but yeah, man, Bill Finger, dog, and there he is there now. without a doubt, Bob Kane greatly profited from both fame and financial success from Bill Finger's contributions. While Bill Finger faded into obscurity and died from heart disease in 1974, broke.
That's crazy.
This guy created the Joker. There's a
He
great
created
cover.
one of the greatest superheroes heroes in American history and world history,
Yeah, in the
and
world.
died penniless.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that
It's tragic. That's a tragedy right there.
yeah.
And look at these covers. Oh man, Jerry Robinson says Bill Finger wrote the script. The Joker. Kane gave Finger co-credit for creating Batman's nemesis, the Joker, despite claims on the character by artist Jerry Robinson. Robinson countered that he created the Joker to be Batman's larger-than-life nemesis when extra stories needed to be written quickly for Batman #1. Jerry Robinson says Bill Finger wrote the script, so he really was the co-creator, and Bob and I did the visuals. There you go, man, and there's Joker is my favorite.
I like that cover. That cover is pretty dope. The
Man, I love any
different
cover with the Joker. I love any cover with the Joker. Look at this beautiful shit. Man. The Penguin debuted in Detective Comics #58. According to Kane, he drew the Penguin after being inspired by then advertising mascot of Cool Cigarettes, a penguin with a top hat and cane. Finger, however, said he created the villain as a caricature of the aristocratic type because stuffy English gentlemen reminded him of emperor penguins.
Mm-hmm.
And there you go with his, he looks like, Mr. Peanut.
Yo, let's get to the Penguin. Oh man, that imagery right there just sparked me off.
You getting there?
Yeah, man.
Two-Face. Now, my favorite dude is Two-Face, because he's the gangster dude with the top, the coin. He's got the gangster suit, the pinstripes. He's just straight out of a gangster movie. I love him. And there's a Scarecrow, created by Bill Finger and Dick Sprang. And then you got the Riddler there coming out, Catwoman, Selena Kyle, blah blah blah. There's Catwoman looking. She had a dress on at first.
Make that one. Come on.
No.
Come on, make these early ones. This is what matters.
Poison Ivy. OG 1966. That's dope.
Yeah, I had that book at one point.
Wow, that's dope. I love this. Love this right here. Frank Miller, Solomon Grundy, Joker, Penguin, Scarecrow, Ivy.
Yeah.
Some of the villains. Man,
it's just history of dope shit, man.
The dopest shit.
Hell yeah.
Oh, and so right now you guys can go and get these. Todd McFarlane put these out in celebration of today, of Batman Day. And I like two. I had grabbed two of them.
Nice.
Let's see. This one's dope right here.
Oh, okay. Nice. That's from the Batman comic, or which one? Which comic is that?
This is it's like the Bat Hound. So it's this dog.
Yeah.
And there's the comic right there in the corner. It's I can't read the number. Looks like I want to say number 84, but let me see if it tells in the description here. Yeah, 1950s was a decade of change with Dark Knight Detective. Introduced new friends and foes. Tales include debuts of Ace the Bat Hound, Deadshot. Didn't say the date, or the issue number, but
before he had the cowl and stuff that we know of the modern day one. Yeah,
it was a little shorter the ears, maybe.
Yeah.
But really cool looking Batman. Definitely got to go on my shelf. I definitely need that for the collection, dog. And then had to grab me one of these. No, I didn't grab that one. Hold on, I'll show you that one in a second. But this is another one I had to get.
Oh, the Todd.
Batman Beyond.
Batman Beyond, yeah.
Because I don't have any Batman Beyonds, and that'll look
a more future version of him.
Yeah, it's not the one that I'm used to seeing, but
He looks cool. He looks
It's
real cool.
cool. It'll go good on the shelf. That's all. And then I have this one already, but I don't have the gold version. This is the gold version.
Oh wow. With the axe, yeah.
Yeah, it's Batman, Vampire Batman.
Mhm. Crazy.
Yeah, yeah. The version I got is like brown and instead of the gold, it's like a brownish.
Mhm.
There's his face. There's a picture.
Yeah, that looks crazy. That comic.
Or the only reason I don't get it is because you got to pay the money to pre-order it.
Oh, all right.
Fuck that.
You'll find it. You'll find it somewhere easily.
Maybe if it was somewhere, I'd get it. Like I do want it. Damn a cyborg is dope. Yo, what's this?
That's the gold version of that red version.
Mm,
Man, forget what it's called. Yep.
Nightmare.
Yeah, Nightmare from the metal Batman metal.
Okay. It's pretty cool, but it's a little bit much. It's a little bit
Yeah,
over
'cause
the
they
top.
already did a solid gold and red. They did the black and red. Now they're gonna do black and gold. I know he
Yeah.
wants to reuse the molds and stuff, but you know.
All right. Yeah, it'd be dope, man. If this shit was somewhere else, I'd pre-order it, but I ain't trying to pay $30 right now.
Mhm.
Man, they might have it at like GameStop or something. I don't know. But they have that one, and then they've got this one, which was sold out already, which I don't mind. It's not anything I really care about.
Always
There's
using a glider.
it's this Batman suit, which I really don't care for, and then yeah, it comes with a glider.
Mm. They did the steampunk Batman, but they
Oh, it's
didn't.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
It comes with like a bunch of shit. Like it comes with this background, the cityscape background. It comes with a stand and the glider. So it's
No,
like a cool little scene you could do, but still, I don't care
it's a
about it.
little diorama. Yeah.
And then this is the other one that I also passed on because I have one already, like just like it, same face sculpt,
Yeah.
and the suit I don't really care for. I don't like Batman suits with like too much features. Like I don't want all that armor and shit.
Well,
All the
yeah,
plate.
most of that is from the video games, like
Yeah.
going Arkham Asylum and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Noticed. Yeah.
This is called Noel, Batman Noel.
No.
I
Yeah.
don't I don't know. It's like a Christmas thing. Like there's like snow in the background and shit. So like
Yeah.
Noel
It's like
Christmas.
a Nightmare Before Christmas type deal where Batman
Yeah.
and I think he takes on uh
It
Bat.
says okay. It says right here, inspired by Charles Dickens' immortal classic "A Christmas Carol." Batman Noel features different interpretations of the Dark Knight. So it's like a Christmas Carol thing. Okay, which is interesting. If I don't know which which version that's supposed to be, but that's what McFarlane's got
Yeah, he
for
need to
today.
dig deeper. He got to dig deeper, man. Give us some old renditions of
I would
Batman.
love, yeah, like some real cool shit, man. That's what we need, bro.
Yeah.
That's what we really, really need.
Yo,
Well,
I want him to do the one from the Batman and Robin from the 30s, 40s
mm-hmm.
serials. Give me those guys.
Yeah,
Robin back there wasn't no punk, man. That Robin back then was busting ass, man. He was
yeah,
crashing through windows, beating motherfuckers up, yo. Yo, those serials are the best, man. And those movies, it was called the one when he was fighting this Jackie Chan, not Jackie Chan, but this Asian menace guy who was controlling the minds of
mm,
people. Yo, it was wild, man. Wow.
damn,
I was like, yo, I can't believe I skipped out on this when I was younger. You know what I'm saying?
word,
So now I start to rewatch all the old Batman shows and the old serials from those days, and it's quite interesting. Quite interesting. The Bruce
mm,
Wayne that we know of now is not like your recluse. He was out there. He was like really that flamboyant playboy type.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
BDBGP salute.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
man. I think it's time, man, to since you brought it up, man, shows, man. Let's get into it. Bam.
Penguin, the
Penguin.
greatest show at this point that a superhero rogue could ever have.
Mm.
Period.
Mm.
Period. There's no other show. I don't care if it's Marvel. It beats out all its own predecessors as far as DC shows on television and on streaming platforms and so forth. Yo,
Yeah,
this is the joint, man.
I'll
This
go
is
with
the
that.
joint. This is the joint, man. Um, Everything about it is on point. The mind, the calculating mind of the penguin has been shown, the inner workings of his
Mm.
mind, his motivations, how people underestimate him because of the way he looks and the way he walks, and just they underestimate him.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
only one who did not underestimate him was the crazy Falcone daughter, the one
Right.
that's a
But she
psychotic.
sees through his shit.
Yeah, yeah. So
You got that crazy
that
vision.
dynamic right there, that was, oh man, gold.
Crazy visions.
They should have mad Emmys off of this, man. Mad
Mm.
Emmys and whatever off of this. This, you know how what you call it got Emmys,
Sopranos.
Sopranos. They should get the same Emmys, if not more.
Woo! That's a
That's
big
what I'm
statement
talking.
there.
Emmys,
But
early prediction. Emmys, Penguin.
I feel you. I feel you. You know, Penguin definitely, man, I was impressed. It's not what I expected, I will tell you. Like, I did expect more it to be more like Sopranos, to be more gangster accurate, more mafia accurate. And what it turns out to be is still
Jeez.
great, just not what I expected, but it's more like a comic, it's more comic book accurate than I'd say than gangster accurate, which is fine because it's not a gangster character, it's a comic book character. So, that's fine. They're dipping into the gangster, mafia aspect. Obviously, it's obviously, Falcone, Maroni, the whole thing. But then you have like the character or the actor rather that plays Maroni, clearly not an Italian man, clearly not supposed to be an Italian man, but yet his name is Salvatore Maroni and he's playing a mafia boss. So what that says to me is that they don't want to go near the stereotype of Italians being gangsters,
Yeah.
which was something touched on in The Sopranos and other things. But Italian Americans don't like being assumed to be mobbed up just because they're Italian and they feel it's a stereotype. I mean, a lot of people in my family don't like it, but personally, I don't mind it. But it it's a bone of contention with a lot of Italian Americans, and so I can see them why they wanted to get a little away from that. They also, with a kind of what I see as a play on the Robin origin, where he stumbles upon a kid stealing his hubcaps or rims in this case, which, by the way, that car definitely not something a mobster would drive, but still funny. And then so they have this character, this young kid. I believe he's Latino, could be black and Latino mixed.
Yeah.
And so he's
Yeah.
that, and it's a little bit tokenism, but at the same time, they're trying to not make this thing about Italian American gangsters. This is not supposed to be an Italian mafia show. They don't want you to get it confused with that. They want you to know this is a comic book character. It's Batman. It's the Penguin. It's not Tony Soprano. It's not Goodfellas. It's not The Godfather. And it's definitely not Italian Americans. And while they're using the names Maroni and Falcone and stuff like that, which are Italian origin, which comes from the comics, but that's where it ends. That's where it ends. And like you said, man, the best comic book related show I think that we've had definitely beats anything Marvel's done, and I knew it would be. And I've said it every time. Every time we talked about this show, I knew this show was going to be phenomenal. It's an HBO show, which right away is automatically going to be dope. They don't miss a lot. HBO shows are 9 times out of 10 dope as fuck. I like
Yeah,
all of
yeah.
them.
I mean,
No exception here.
from the beginning, the outset, before the main title hit up, it was just craziness.
No, I was shocked.
When my man popped the old boy's son, and
Dum,
then
dum, dum, dum.
he was like, "Oh shit!" And then
Spoiler alert.
came up. Spoiler, I was like, "Thank God." Yo. I mean, I was just like, then my brother called me. I'm like, "Yo, man, why you calling me when I'm watching the Penguin, man? This is good."
No, I'm saying, dog, this shit was crazy.
Beautiful.
And beautiful. And Batman's had plenty of movies and TV shows, with his name and being related. Like, and the Joker can even boast a couple of solo films, right? And I think now it's time for the spotlight to shine on a Gotham City menace, who hasn't really had his day in the sunlight yet. Really hasn't been portrayed that well. And the Danny DeVito character was obviously a more monstrous version. Definitely not someone who could mingle in and run a mob crew, or or mingle with gangsters. But what is the Penguin, or what is the writer and creator Lauren LaFranc said, if you asked Oz if he's happy to have his own show, he'd be like, it's about damn time. Transformed by makeup, prosthetics, and this whole ambiance. Colin Farrell just completely disappears, bro. He you can't, like, it's not Colin Farrell. Like, he's gone. Like, this is Oswald Cobblepot. It's the Penguin, and they do a phenomenal job as far as effects go. But you got to give it up to Colin Farrell as well. Phenomenal job.
Yes, sir.
And it's a new version of the Penguin. It's not a version that we've seen before. And Matt Reeves, the Batman, is the universe responsible for its creation, and it's fitting for that universe, that version, that sort of version, that motif of Batman, that Matt Reeves created in The Batman. And this show, for anyone who wonders, again, spoiler alert, we're going to get into spoilers here, but this show does not focus on Robert Pattinson's Dark Knight Detective. In fact, he's not even in it. But not because he was too big of a star and they couldn't get him for the show. This is an HBO show, guys. This is the quality of a movie. Pattinson would kill and give his left nut to be in this show, but they purposely don't have him in the show. And Matt Reeves has a whole explanation and reason for why, which I told on the other show. I think I'll go over it again. But this is going to be 8 episodes. It's a 1-season deal. It's a spin-off series from the movie The Batman, and it's following Oz Cobb, as they call him, making his moves to run Gotham City's underworld, and it's like his rise to power. And he does not start out in power. He does not start out being respected. He does not start out as a prominent figure at all. Like, when we first see him, he's a lowly, knockaround guy, right? Henchman that has no respect, and in the beginning gets completely disrespected by the boss's son, who is now the boss, now that dad is dead. And he's like,
actually, my fault for cutting you off. He was actually treated like a pet by Falcone, in a sense. Like, he felt so sad for the man, so he got him under his wing or what have you, and to his own surprise, found out this guy, he was learning.
right?
They doubted this dude. Like,
They underestimated him.
Underdog. He's the underdog of the underdogs,
and he's underestimated by everybody because everyone thinks he's a moron. Because, to be honest, He does not come across as a smart guy. He doesn't walk into the room and draw everyone's attention. He is not a charismatic man. He's not the average gangster character. You
For the
know,
laws of power.
Tony Soprano, played by James Gandolfini, and all the characters in The Sopranos were purposely not chosen actors like, good looking guys like De Niro and Pacino and Ray Liotta. They were purposely chosen by actors that were not good looking guys that, you know, only, their charisma and stuff like, real mobsters, which I've known in my lifetime, my family, related, my grandfather, being from Brooklyn, I've been around these guys and they're just regular dudes, man. They're good dudes and but they have a charisma, bro. They have an air that it doesn't matter if they're good looking. It has nothing to do with that. They just have this vibe, bro, and
it's confidence. Like
it's
what they,
confidence.
yeah.
And Penguin doesn't have that, right? So Penguin's not that dude. But like you said, he's calculating. He's all the time learning and he's watching and he's you know what I'm saying? And then he'll seem like he's losing. Like he'll make his opponent think that they're beating his ass. Like they'll be fucking him up and he'll let himself get fucked up. And while you fucking him up, he got something coming from behind your ass.
Yeah, this first episode proves all of that. Like it throws you off and you're like, yo, this guy, come on. This is why out of all the rogues, the Penguin was the mastermind of the plan.
Right.
He was the main guy. Even if you go to the 66 Batman show.
Yep.
Penguin was the mastermind. Even the movie, the 66 movie.
Yep, he was the boss of it all. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like they took from all that and they say, yo, the Penguin, that's the guy. That's the guy. Don't get it twisted. He's the guy.
Mm-hmm.
So
this show is his rise to power.
Yeah. And his rise up in standard and standing amongst the villains.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you got to give this guy respect out of all the villains because remember, the Joker is unhinged.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He's a joke. Joker's not a mobster. He's not a gangster. He's a terrorist.
Yeah, he's a terrorist. He's just something of chaos, basically.
He's like a terrorist. He's more close to a terrorist than a gangster, is what I mean.
And then you got the Riddler, who's a psychotic, neurotic, and
who's also like a terrorist.
Yep.
And then you got Two-Face, who is more like a gangster.
Yeah, and he's a bludgeon gangster. He just wants violence.
Right.
He's not thinking out. He's just going off of emotion.
And he got that coin, like you flip a coin, like he whether he kill you or let you live, it don't matter to him. He gonna flip a coin. That's how little he gives a fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
And
the Penguin is the calculating one.
And this show takes place 1 week after the events of the movie The Batman.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's very much a part of the movie The Batman. It starts off with a newsreel just coming off the Batman talking about the flood, the Riddler. It mentions Batman right away in the first fucking seconds of the movie. It mentions the Riddler, it mentions the flood, everything from the movie. And it starts right off a week after that. You see Gotham is still flooded, people wading through the water. And sorry, what'd you say?
And it's seamless from the movie. It is actually seamless. There's
it looks
no difference in the cinematography or anything.
Right.
It's seamless. That's what you want.
And that's why I was always saying that an HBO show is not like a network TV show. It's going to be like a movie, but it's just going to be, 8 hours long.
Yeah.
And separated into 1 hour pieces. Now, right after Gotham is flooded, there's a sort of a scramble to fill this power vacuum, which also not only is it flooded, but Carmine Falcone is assassinated. He's the boss of crime at the time, and the other boss, Maroni, he's in prison. So Carmine's running shit. Carmine dies. Now all the lower level henchmen with the Falcones, the ambitious Oz, Penguin, they're eyeing their way to own the town's drug trade and play the Falcone and Maroni families against one another. And now Penguin's got his little sidekick, handyman, and Victor Aguilar, but the return of the convicted serial killer Sophia Falcone, Falcone's daughter. She's been in Arkham Asylum for 10 years, just complete like psychopathic, serial killer. And she's now out and wants to take that top spot. She wants to be the boss. She's gonna basically, threaten Penguin's rise to power. And before that, though, Falcone's son is, the natural heir apparent, right? He's the one everyone assumes is going to take the reins, and so he assumes it too. And he's sitting there one night, late night, chopping it up with a man who he thinks is completely inconsequential. He takes Penguin
Spoiler
as an
alert.
absolute joke. Spoiler alert. He thinks Penguin is a fucking clown. He's just sitting there just chopping it up. He's basically opening up to Penguin because he knows Penguin is just inconsequential. And he asks him, he says, "Do you think I could do it, with my father, follow in his footsteps?" And Penguin says, "Man, you can do whatever you want." And he tells him a story about a gangster from the neighborhood who everybody looked up to, and everyone respected, and they made a parade for this guy, and he helped everyone out, and helped you with your rent, and said hi to people, and knew everyone's name, and he was just this well-liked guy. And Penguin sort of was giving him like a, wouldn't it be dope, just like that's how, it would be great to be remembered. But to Falcone, that is a low-level gangster. That guy is a street hood. He's a neighborhood guy, neighborhood celebrity, a hood star. And he's like, why would you want me to be like some lowlife like that? And he's like, wait a minute, that's your fantasy. That's what you think is the dope shit. And he starts making fun of him about it. And he calls him, all kind of names and belittles him. And while he's talking shit to him, Penguin just pulls out and just unloads him.
Blam, blam.
Blams him, just murks him out on the spot. And he's like, now what?
He was like,
and then he's like, oh, fuck did I do?
And then it just was Penguin. The
goes from
title,
there, right?
I gotta watch. I'm gonna watch it again, man. That shit is so dope.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, I've already watched it twice. I watched it by myself, and then I watched it with my son.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it with my wife. I'm like, yo, check this shit out. This shit is crazy.
It's dope.
Yeah.
And now the Colin Farrell says that Oz was meant to be a red herring in the first Batman film. He said he was behavioral. He said he was kind of a cock of the walk, but the series digs into the psychology of him as a man and how far he's willing to go, and also through flashback and get into some really painful details about his upbringing that don't justify but somehow describe why he is a version of the man that he is.
Yeah.
And Oz, is far from, the fine feathered Finks played by Burgess Meredith, right? The 60s TV show Penguin, right? The top hat and the monocle and the penguin and the umbrella. But he waddles though.
That look in the beginning when he gets out the car, put the umbrella up and was walking with his penguin walk.
And he was
like that right there, I was like,
dope.
I'm like, yo,
dope.
This is crazy.
And he's and obviously he's nothing like the almost monster like Danny DeVito version. Matt Reeves was working in a more realistic version of Gotham, and the writer for Penguin, LeFranc, wanted this Penguin's origin story to be rooted in family and for him to be an underdog, like you said. And which is why his name is Oz Cobb in the show and not the more familiar Oswald Cobblepot. In DC Comics canon now, that's like a wealthy Gotham family, and his name means something, and it's meant to be like, it's meant to be Oswald Cobblepot. It's meant to be very like, upstanding, citizen type shit, aristocratic, right? And LeFranc didn't want Oz to have that. She wanted him to be Oz Cobb, not Oswald Cobblepot. So, he'd be so desperate to achieve something that, if he started from a place of being without anything, not even a name of any stature. And so that's why they just named him Oz Cobb. And she said that Oz's drive was, quote, born of pain experienced in his formative years as a child. His ambition is calcified through the years and throughout the telling of this tale over 8 hours, and it becomes darker and more sinister and more relentless in his pursuit of his dream, having ultimate power and ultimately making his mother proud.
Yeah.
End quote. So, and his mom, what a character.
I love his
Man,
mom. Gangster.
yeah, gangster as fuck. And, when he's not doing crimes, Oz is taking care of his beloved mom, played by Deirdre O'Connell, and LaFranc, thought that she should inform, who he is as well. And she said, I wanted him and his mom to have a very twisted, unusual, slightly Oedipal relationship, like Oedipus. And LaFranc says, he would respect someone like Sophia Falcone more than other people because he has a mother who was has so much gravitas and shown him how powerful women can be. So he really takes Sophia seriously, and unlike all the other gangsters in the world, he doesn't underestimate her.
Yeah.
Because he knows what women can do because it's his mother.
Yeah.
And so, of all the characters in the Penguin, Sophia is most like a classic Batman villain, right? She's done her time in Arkham. She's lunatic, and she's got these huge eyes that make her look very crazy. And yeah, and after being nicknamed the Hangman, right? And come out of a deranged version of her former self, and it says she's sleeping in her closet, clawing at her neck every night. This is the actress that plays her. She says, and her father Carmine, played in the show by Mark Strong, which we'll talk about that because it was John Turturro in the movie.
Turturro, yeah.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why. But she told Sophia that she was the rightful heir to the crime family until she goes through something unfathomable. And the actress says that, but instead of escaping a bad situation, it made sense to me that she would return and be like, okay, I'm going to get that power and I'm going to keep going. And, she does. Like, she definitely comes out pretty formidable. I like the character. I thought she was dope. I like how this actress is playing her.
Yo, but you know the linchpin in the whole thing is the Penguin's assistant, that kid that we
the
spoke
kid.
on earlier, and
Yeah.
with him, he's being underestimated as well. He got a hard stutter. He looks like he's always afraid, and and you see the Penguin trying to teach him, but teach him as if the guy don't know. I think
Right.
he's hiding something to where he does know how to maneuver, and it was,
Right.
you know what I'm saying. So he's starting to notice a lot and getting that information because the stunt they pulled off at the end of the show. Yeah, I didn't see that coming, bro.
I mean, Penguin told him to do it though.
Yeah, but I didn't see it coming. I was like,
No, I didn't see it coming either.
really?
That was good.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
It
but then they show that Penguin had set the whole thing up from the jump, dog. It was beautifully played out. Fucking brilliant. And with Oz, he when he sees Sophia for the first time, we can see there's something there. He knows who this is. He's like kind of shocked. He's kind of scared of her almost. You can tell there's something in there, and there's a deep history between them, and like a betrayal as well, right? That creates a serious friction. And the actress who plays Sophia said that they're such excellent adversaries for each other, that they're also are kindred. They're also, similar. And she completely sees through all of his bullshit, right? Like we were saying earlier, she sees him, she peeps him, she sees that he's not to be underestimated. Just like he don't underestimate her, she doesn't
like at
underestimate
dinner
him.
when she kissed him and hugged him and said, "I know what you're capable of."
Right.
Talking about her brother, she already knew. Old boy did it, but there's always a but that throws you off. Like, now where's she at? You know what I'm saying? Because she just seen something that was like, I thought this guy was the one that was capable of it.
Right. And
Penguin is keeping himself like in that zone to where, okay, you're not. I'm not trying to let you figure me out. You may think you figured me out, but I'm gonna play that game where I am the aloof dude, still henchman. That whatever, whatever.
yeah.
Now,
I
no,
almost see them teaming up, man. Like that would be a crazy team up. Like if because everyone underestimates her and
yeah,
everyone underestimates him, and they would make a super duo, and it would make sense, like, because of, his not having the stature and her not being a man. Them
yeah,
two combined would get the respect. They'd be able to take over
yeah,
and run the whole show, which would be an interesting twist.
yeah.
As for the
I'm
the
sorry. She
no,
actually said, "Oh, this your car?" He's like,
mm,
"Why purple?" He's like, "It's actually plum." But he's
yeah,
like, she was like, "That's not normal. What? Why
yeah,
would you have that color? You stand out."
yeah,
That's the point. That's the point of this guy.
right,
They're drawing on insecurities. Like, okay, this guy who would cower in the shadows with his disabilities, but
hmm,
he's out front flashing in the
right,
most weird, awkward ways, like in his suits and in his car. Like, yo, you gotta watch this dude. Like, he's unpredictable.
hell
He's
yeah,
unpredictable in that manner where he's like he's in the zone. Like, yo, I love it,
yeah,
man.
dog. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Dope, dope, man.
Oh yeah.
Dope.
They and he's got that, the scarred face and the waddle and the big beak nose, and he's got that club foot that makes him waddle, and so he looks like the penguin part, and he's also got the charm and that sort of air about him, and the writer, she said that he does whatever he wants,
Mm,
and she said it's fun to write someone who's off kilter and a jerk and a little mean and a little funny and breaks the rules, and that's him. That's how she wrote him. And
yeah,
when he gets into trouble, he leans on Victor, which is the orphan, the teen gangster that he takes under his wing,
and he's
which
compassionate.
yeah,
Compassionate.
and he sees that Victor has a stutter,
Mm,
and that he's been bullied as a kid because of what differentiates him from everyone else, his physical impediment. And that's what Oz had with his foot and shit that he went through as a kid. So he, like you said, man, he sympathizes with this kid,
yeah,
and so takes him under his wing. But one person's care is another person's cruelty. Oz caring for you does not mean that you're safe or that he won't kill you at the drop of a dime. And he tells him, like, if I'll gut you like a fish, like in 2 seconds, and he
mm,
will literally do whatever it takes to get ahead in life. And if this kid's getting in his way, he'll take him right out. It's
mm,
not, and man, I love this fucking rated R superhero stuff that we're getting now, because the more we get of it and the more successful is, or rather the more successful is, the more we'll get of it,
yeah,
which I think is great, because comic fans, are there's guys in their 60s, man. I mean, 50s and 40s and 30s, and like we're adults, and yeah, the comic stuff, for kids is cool. It's how we all got here, but at the same time, while we still have a love for that stuff, we do want to see content that we are entertained by.
yeah.
And that's why Deadpool was so successful, and Deadpool and Wolverine was so successful, and Penguin is now
Well,
going to be massively successful.
I would say, okay, the Wolverine and Deadpool, Marvel, it's a Marvel property, but it it was more like a college guys movie to me.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
but
saying? With all the
it
dick
was
jokes and stuff
it's
like
rated
that.
R and it's successful and it's a
Yeah,
superhero
yeah,
movie.
yeah. But I'm
Long as
saying,
as long as those three things are good, then we'll get shit
but
like Penguin.
but what I'm saying as a comparison to Penguin, I think it's a different level. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying? This is a more mature
Only
look.
comparison I'm making is that they're both rated R.
Okay, okay, okay.
That's the only
Yeah.
comparison I'm making.
Oh,
But
I'm just saying the level of content and quality. I mean, not to
totally
say that
different. Yeah.
Deadpool wasn't high quality in its own right, but the Penguin is just like right on. You can watch this, even if they
Yeah.
extended this series longer. You can say, "Oh, I'm into this. Like, I
Yeah.
can't wait to watch this."
Sink your teeth into it. The writing is deep.
Yeah,
It's got a lot of story to it. It's
yeah,
good. It's a well written
yeah,
thing. Whereas Deadpool and Wolverine, no. But I'm just saying that rated R superhero content or comic book content will lead to things like Penguin. Even if it's Deadpool, right? That's still see we're talking. What I'm talking about is studio heads. These CEO guys, these old guys, they're completely out of touch. All they see is the dollar signs and the numbers. Is all they care about.
mhm,
What's giving me numbers right now? Rated
mhm,
R superhero movies work? I didn't think that could work. We were told that couldn't work and that wouldn't make us any money. That's the only reason we said no. Only reason. If that makes money, give us more of that.
yeah,
Deadpool and Wolverine is the highest grossing rated R movie of all time,
mhm.
of any genre.
That's crazy. That's not
Rated
crazy.
R movies don't typically make a lot of money. Blockbusters are never rated R. They're PG-13. That gets the biggest audience.
Yeah,
But
because
now we're starting to get rated R shit because you're adding the superhero aspect, which gives the big audience, and then you got the rated R aspect. Man,
yeah,
I think it's
there's a
great.
lot of factors for that too. It's like even our kids, if we had them early at an earlier age, they're now grown enough to
Mm-hmm.
watch more of the rated R stuff,
Right.
and the older parents they want to see that rated R, and the younger ones now, like let's say your son has a child,
Right.
they're not going to be concerned with that
No.
because they're in their video game lifestyle
Right.
and their digital and Pokemon and stuff like that, or what have you. They're into that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like my sons, I have my sons later in life, but
Right.
they're not into the R-rated movie. They'll watch the Terminator. That's about it. Just because I
Uh,
like the Terminator. They'll watch it with
right.
me. Other than that,
How old
anything
are they?
9 and 13, bro.
Oh, okay, young. Yeah, still young.
Yeah,
My
they're
my
young.
son just turned 20 this
Okay,
summer.
see,
Yeah, yeah.
see, vast difference. It's like
Right.
they'll watch it if they see me watching it, and they'll watch it for a second and be like, "All right, I'm out."
Yeah. I had him when I was 25.
See, so your son he knows about watching some good R-rated movies when he wants to, or he would rather see that instead of a PG
Yeah.
family orientated movie where, you know, if you go back to Batman 89, or let's say Batman Returns or something like that, or
Mm,
with the you know what I'm saying, Mr. Freeze and stuff like that. That's all quirky, corny. Let's see a Mr. Freeze that can really get busy. That's
word.
what we want to see. And they
Yeah.
delivered it with Penguin. You know what I'm saying? This
Right.
is the Penguin we want to see.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We
Like
don't
when
want
we right. Like and the reason is, man, it's like they think that this whole philosophy to me never made sense that superhero stuff couldn't be rated R. And
Mhm.
I get for merchandising because you want little kids and parents to buy the stuff for their little kids and all that, but comic books are not for little kids. They're like they
Yeah,
cuss and they have violence and they're rated R. If they were a movie, they'd be rated R.
yeah.
So
Mhm.
it makes no sense. Making a movie that's rated R is only going to please us more because we're going to see it's going to seem more like the comics that we love, more like the characters that we love. Like certain characters like Punisher not being able to cuss and kill people is crazy. That would be ridiculous. I need to see him, tearing motherfuckers' heads off and shit. So like
Shit,
that's just
Even Daredevil. Why?
yeah,
Shit, Daredevil's in the midst of the griminess shit. Why
right,
is he, engulfed in it? That's why everybody liked the Netflix series,
right.
because they were close to Frank Miller's work and stuff like that too with
Mhm.
Daredevil. So it's like, yeah, let's get busy with that. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And I remember I mentioned that so Carmine Falcone was
Mhm.
played by John Turturro in the movie,
Yeah.
in the Batman. So apparently, what they're saying is that he wasn't able to come back in because of scheduling conflicts.
Mm.
So they couldn't make it work. But they said what he said. He's LaFranc, the writer, said, honestly, I'm thrilled that we were able to bring in Mark Strong. And Mark Strong is a dope actor. And I think, he makes a great Falcone.
Mhm.
Um, I'm not really mad at it, but Mark Strong's been in a lot of cool shit. I mean, he's been in a ton of fucking movies. This dude's catalog is insane.
Yeah, he's no joke. He's no joke. I mean, come on.
You know what I'm saying? Ever since that movie Revolver, I've been a fan of this dude.
Yeah. Yeah, he's always been dope. He's always been dope. Even when you see him in not so, I mean, even in PG movies like the like Shazam,
Right.
when he was the villain in Shazam. Like, I mean, come on.
Yeah. He's been, yeah. And
He's still great at it.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
He always plays a great villain, man. But
yeah,
he's a great actor. He's definitely a great actor. Does all kinds of characters. I've seen him do all kinds of shit ever since that movie Revolver.
yeah.
What's another one? Rock and Roller is a good one.
Roller, yeah.
Yeah, Rock and Roller, that's a good one, and that he's in, and
Yeah,
but yeah,
because
that's
he's another one of Guy Ritchie's
Guy
pals.
Ritchie guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
one of the pals.
fucking
Him and
yeah.
Statham and all them. That's the clique.
Sherlock Holmes, he's in.
Yeah, yeah. That's the clique, man.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, that's why they did that.
Mm.
Why they recasted him and shit. But they also may have revealed who the villain is going to be in the Batman 2. The Batman spinoff, right? This or the Penguin is a Batman spinoff, and they may have confirmed the villain because well, what I've seen on social media, right, is they're sharing this interesting theory about what could happen in the sequel following the reveal that the Penguin's real name, which is traditionally Oswald Cobblepot, has now been changed to the simpler, more grounded Oswald Cobb, but has change accidentally revealed who Batman will face when he returns to the big screen in 2026. And while the name change, has had a lot of criticism from like, the more like purist fans, DC fans, may have, been left wondering if it connects the character to the Court of Owls, right? So an organized crime group, right? Secret society, wealthy Gothamites who manipulate the citizens of Gotham for their own gain for centuries. And the reason that this theory is taking hold is that William Cobb is the name of one of the high-ranking Talons, right? A skilled group of Court of Owls assassins. The Court of Owls has their assassin group called the Talons, right?
And they're supposedly immortal.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
And dude, it's a dope. I hope that this theory comes true because Court of Owls is a great concept, and
Yeah.
it fits perfectly in Matt Reeves's. It's a perfect concept rather for Matt Reeves's version of Gotham because it's more grounded in reality, and they're not a fantastical, alien. They're just a secret society of rich dudes. Something that could easily be in this universe, and you know, it would be dope. It would be real dope.
Mhm.
It's can it be a coincidence? Yes, it can be. But had I not also heard, rumors that the Court of Owls would be the villain, or be a part of the Batman 2 moving forward, then, it kind of makes sense. Oz Cobb, the Cobb dude from the Talons,
Yeah.
is it a coincidence? Maybe, maybe not, but it would be pretty dope.
But if you ever seen Gotham Knights, uh, it was on HBO as well.
Oh, I know of it, but I never watched
Yeah,
it.
yeah. They touched on the Court of Owls,
Yeah.
and which was pretty cool for what it was. But if
Mm.
these guys do it in this universe, oh man, I'm telling you, it's gonna get
Dog.
really rowdy, man.
Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah, it's gonna get really rowdy.
I really hope so.
Can't wait for it. I can't wait for it because what they did with the quarter hours in that Gotham Knights was very decent. It
Yeah.
got to the lore of Gotham society back then and working in conjunction with Raj Al Ghul, and the
Yeah.
whole thing where it's all like it's all set up, like everything. Gotham, the villains, everybody was set up to be where they are due to the Court of Owls. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's
Yeah.
like if they put that in this and we see how they work it in this universe, or so to speak, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
dope. It's gonna be dope.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't wait for it. If the rumors are true, what you say that you're picking from, and
Yeah.
they're pointing to that, yeah, I can't wait for that either. I can't.
Hell yeah, bro. Yeah, and it just, I mean, yeah, it just fits the whole universe, the whole Matt Reeves world, the whole, the Batman. It could fit in the seven motif of the Batman. It could fit in the Sopranos motif of Penguin. It could fit in any of it. And yeah, there's so much potential, dude. There's so much shit they can do with the Court of Owls, bro.
Yeah, and
So many.
their assassins are ruthless, immortal killers. Like
Mm-hmm.
some real, some real stuff, man.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy,
Yep.
crazy.
That dude he killed, Albert Falcone.
Yeah, the sun.
Yeah, he was in the comics. He was Frank Miller
Yeah,
put him in the comic in the Dark Knight.
yeah,
And yeah, yeah. The the Long Halloween.
yeah. The Long Halloween. Yep,
Yeah, yeah,
heavy, heavy book. Even the animation, Long Halloween was crazy. I dug
yeah,
it.
yeah. There's I guess the New York City, the New York Times
Mhm.
has turned into the Gotham Gazette for one day. The
Nah,
yeah, it's I
I
would
need to
love to
get
get,
one of those. Shit.
man, I would love to get one.
I have to find out somebody. I gotta find somebody now. Shit,
Dog.
that can get that.
That shit, I would love to have one of these, dog. It says that if you live in New York, old school newsies are giving away copies of a newspaper that explains the events that have transpired between Matt Reeves, the Batman, and the new Max spinoff show, The Penguin. If you're a subscriber to the New York Times, the print copy already arrived at your door this morning. Okay, so it's not a version of the New York Times. If you have the New York Times, they also gave an extra little paper with it that was a little version of the Gotham Gazette. Man, hella cool. This opportunity was one that felt natural for us because there's honestly nothing more New York and thus Gotham than the New York Times. Vita Cornelius, senior vice president of the creative of the New York Times advertising content studio, told Fast Company, the Gazette has been the daily paper of the Batman universe since the 1940s, and what better way to complement the show by bringing it to life and delivering it all over the country. The paper contains op-eds about leaving Gotham following the destruction caused by the Riddler in the first film, and always reports on the flooding, mold, and all the awful aftermath. The Penguin takes place about a week after the events of the film. Batman, meaning this newspaper that ran in Gotham right after the credits rolled. I guess that's what it looks like. Maybe the series sees Colin reprise his role as titular mob boss. He attempts to seize control of Gotham, created by Lauren LaFranc. The series also stars Christina Milioti as Sophia Falcone, Clancy Brown as Salvatore Maroni, Michael Zegan as Alberto Falcone, and Michael Kelly as John Vitti. The Penguin is also streaming on Max. Check out the Penguin. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, the Penguin on thin ice.
Mm,
Yo, that shit is dope. That's crazy.
that's dope.
Penguin on thin ice. Yo, they really pulled out the stops for the Penguin. That's great promotion, man.
Yeah.
And on Batman Day, for
Right.
They plan this. They plan this like the Penguin plan shit in the show.
Right.
I believe like they knew it would fall on
Yeah, I mean it's a really cool coincidence, I guess.
for everything. That's dope.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Really dope, man. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. Um,
Yeah,
let's see. Uh the Batman Part 2 director finally reveals details about Barry Keegan's Joker. This is interesting because I got to tell you, I'm not really a fan of the Joker in the Batman. I don't like this version of the Joker. I'm a huge Joker fan. Joker is like one of my favorite villains.
Yeah.
Love the character, and this sort of gnarled, crusty, deformed version of the Joker is not my favorite iteration. I don't like it. I prefer the Nicholson version, or a more clean cut version, than say the Heath Ledger version. I'm more of like I would rather have like a nice clean pinstripe, suit, that kind of guy. That's kind
give
of
it a
my that's
chance because we don't know what the outcome is. We just seen the Joker
we'll
in
see.
jail. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
And so
We
let's
don't
see
know
what
what
he's
he
saying.
might do outside of jail.
Yeah. I mean, let's see. He says the DC fans are still trying to deduce who the Batman 2's main villain will be. Director Matt Reeves has finally given some more clues about Barry Keegan's mysterious Joker. The Joker appears very briefly in The Batman, comforting a disheartened Riddler at the Arkham Asylum. The character was given more screen time and an incredibly popular deleted scene, revealing that the iconic supervillain had been locked away in Arkham Asylum for a year and has already encountered Robert Pattinson Batman. And to point out, it is a deleted scene. He could leave it completely out of canon, and it wouldn't be a problem because it was a deleted scene. It wasn't part of the movie.
Yeah, you're right.
But in the comics, the Joker had various origin stories, with the most famous being that he was the regular criminal before accidentally being dropped into a vat of acid at Ace Chemicals, in Alan Moore's The Killing Joke. Most comics don't reveal the Joker's backstory, much like Heath Ledger's version in The Dark Knight, but Reeves has now teased fans with the type of Joker that they can expect in the sequel. He says, Barry is a wonderful actor. He's very, very special. One of the things that we talked about was the idea that his worldview is sort of formed by his being disfigured from birth. He was kind of like a cruel joke that life was playing on him as well. Reeves explained Digital Spy how he wants Keegan's version of the character to put a new spin on the iconic DC Comics character, much like Reeves reinvented Batman, Riddler, and Penguin, to suit a more grounded, realistic Gotham. So too is he giving the Joker the same treatment. His whole philosophy of life and the laughing that he does in that kind of insidious, upsetting way comes from the joke that has been played on him in his existence. This is who he is. So that is how he sees the world. So that's our point of view entry into him. It's dealing with the themes that are Joker themes, but try to find a different way in, a story point of entry. So that's something we talked about when we're doing the scenes. Sounds promising. But yeah, he's really disfigured. That's gross.
Yeah, it sounds like these like Matt Reeves and them making the rogues gallery, or they're going from the point of the person's their psychology due to their inabilities to be normal,
To fit
like
in with society.
huh.
To fit in with society.
Yeah, like their disfigurement deformities are part of their emotional trauma, which steered them in the directions of violence and hate towards society.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's
Mhm.
what it is. They've been outcast from society and from society norms, and they try to adjust as much as they can, but they keep getting shit on. So they're gonna lash out against society, and I think
Yeah.
that's what it is. Even for the Riddler, he was an awkward person, like disturbed and awkward, and he couldn't fit in.
Right.
So therefore, he lashed out against society,
Mm,
and upper society because he went after politicians for the
right.
most part. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like a lot of these villains, they don't go after the the regular man. They don't go after the poor. They go after high
Right.
society. These villains.
Right. Well, that's
So
so that that's how that the average moviegoer can relate to them and like them,
yeah, yeah,
find them likable, because this is the age of the likable villain.
yeah. Damn, my man's deformed.
Word, he's crusty. He looked like Jason Voorhees.
Yeah, that's gonna be something to watch. I'm all for it though. I want to
Yeah,
see this rendition of it. I mean,
right. I mean, like I said, I'm my favorite. I like a dapper Joker, but this is a different universe. So we're doing now. If we're getting this kind of fucked up Joker, I hope that we do get a Two Face that is more gangster, because the Two Face in the Christopher Nolan Batman, that shit, that shit looked like a medical tragedy, dog. That shit was painful, bro. He would he
it's
would
a
be in
medical
constant
tragedy
pain.
that don't make sense.
He would constantly be screaming in pain. He wouldn't be able to
Yeah,
fucking
the air.
stand there, bro. Just
Yeah,
the air on his fucking exposed nerves and shit. Like
yeah,
that was a silly. I'd rather see him just like more deformed like this on one side,
yeah,
but this side got to be clean cut and
yeah,
he got to be smooth. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
hope we get that, man. I hope we get a Two Face. I really do.
It'd be cool if we catch him reading a newspaper and we only see the handsome side of him in the Gotham Today or whatever, and then all of a sudden you turn around and see his whole shit. Wow,
Right.
blacked out. That'd be crazy.
And I want to see a Clayface.
Ooh, yeah,
I really
yeah.
want to see a Clayface in the Reeves Batman universe. A more human type Clayface.
The
Um
toy maker. I like. I want to see all the obscure villains now this time. I mean, we got the basis of the regular ones, and they're really doing a great job in this Matt Reeves universe with
yeah.
starting off with Penguin. So and then they did the Riddler. I really like the Riddler in this too, even though he was a sadistic, psychotic, crazy. But I really like it because it's a different take. Because all we
Right.
used to know is the Riddler giving out riddles and all this, but this guy came with a sickness, a sickening, like he was twisted and
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that, So
Yeah.
yeah, so when he does these characters, I want to see him more. I want to see what they do with Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, that's another one that I would like to see. That would be way harder to do in this type of a universe.
I
Because
don't think so.
I
I
do, because
we're thinking
you'd
because
have
we're
to have
thinking.
a big contraption and make him cold and all that shit.
Yeah, but I think they can spin it to such a way whereas okay, he has a oxygen device, and why they call him Mr. Freeze because he's emotionally cold to the world. Like they can really do something different where he's really cold and he likes to put his victims on ice, like the Iceman.
Yeah, I
When
mean
you think about
that's a
the
take.
Iceman, the thing about
But
him,
that yeah, I mean that's a definitely a way to use the name,
yeah,
but it wouldn't give me the vibe of the character.
yeah, true. I mean, but then again, we see we're talking PG-13.
Right. Scarecrow though would be one that could they so I'm trying to think of ones that could easily fit into this universe, right? Something that they don't use a lot of technology. They're not using
Yeah,
like suits and shit like that and ray guns and things like that. But like Clayface, instead of him turning into this big, monster, he's just a guy with like a deformity. The original, there was a version of Clayface in the comics where he was like this, just like this killer.
yeah, yeah.
The actor, right?
Mhm.
And his face got fucked up by this cream, but he was able to just change his face, not his entire shape. Like in
Yeah.
the cartoons, he can become all this shit, but
Mhm.
something more grounded. And that would be because the Batman obviously blends the vibe of this horror movie called Seven with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman
Yes,
that I
yes,
think
yeah,
we've all seen. Definitely one of my favorites,
yeah. One of the top. Yeah.
hands down. And I would love to see a more, and I think it is a more horrific, a more horror based Batman, especially that Joker. I mean, this is obviously pretty horrific, and Yeah, Clayface and those horror, like I want to see a more horror Batman, almost a rated R Batman would be crazy. You
Yeah.
know, real dark. That would be phenomenal. And I think we're ready for it. And I think we can see that we're ready for it based on the success of these rated R movies and shows. But you know, whether studios think we're ready for it, or whether we get that, you know, anytime in the near future, probably not. But 10 years from now, I think we'll be seeing some rated R Batman.
Yeah.
It says Matt Reeves is slowly building a lived-in Gotham City in his The Batman universe. The Penguin explores a new side of Gotham City and gives the villain his own story, separated from Batman. With the newfound freedom, Colin Farrell wants his version of Penguin to meet Keegan's Joker in the Batman verse, either as an ally or an adversary. Uh,
Ooh,
my
that's
man said, "Oh yeah, I love that. I think he was fantastic. There were two scenes, wasn't there? But yeah, I mean, Joker and Batman, they gotta interact.
mm,
They got
that's
to, just like they do in the show. I mean, they got to. I would love to see that. I would love to see the villains team up like they do in the show. That
mm,
would be wicked. And you know, Arkham, Hugo Strange, perfect character for this universe.
yeah,
You
Hugo
know,
Strange.
the asylum and all of that shit.
Yeah.
Um, Colin Farrell and Barry Keoghan previously appeared on screen together in Martin McDo's multi-Oscar nominated The Banshees of Inisherin. Farrell praised Keegan's comment to all of his roles, knowing the fellow Irish actor would make an excellent Joker in the Batman Part 2. Farrell continued, there was one that was in the film, then the one that we released afterwards. I thought Barry was fantastic in it, and Mike Mariano's work was extraordinary. So creepy, so creepy. I would love to go to work with Barry on that. I just know that he'd give a lot of consideration and a lot of work. Barry works his arse off. He's a fantastic actor, and he gets the head down when he needs to. This is Irish fucking slang.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Work is awesome.
work his arse off. Yeah, bro. That's a great concept and it fits, man. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Hell yeah.
Now, the Batman 2 script is complete, but the DP, Greg Fraser, on the original movie is not necessarily coming back,
Mm,
which would very potentially change the entire look and vibe of the movie. You never know how you see a sequel and it just feels totally different
yeah.
because it has a different crew. It's got a different DP, a different director, or a different producer. It's just something different about it. And when that happens, you know, it's tragic. And I don't want to see that happen because, you know, what
But
makes this movie great was its cinematography and its, you know,
but here's the thing. Like, remember earlier I was talking about being seamless? All they have
yeah,
to do is use these guys who's doing the penguin and just hey, because it's seamless.
yeah,
Like
it's pretty
really,
close.
they really adopted that look, that
Hmm.
feel. So
Yeah,
for over, I mean, the DP don't have to be there, but you see the elements still remain. You
right,
know, these people are carrying it on. So
right.
I think the method is there. I think that the ingredients is there. All they have to do is make the food. That's all.
Yeah,
They're good.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It says the upcoming sequel will quickly follow the critically acclaimed spin-off The Penguin. So it's going to go Batman, the Penguin, the Batman 2. So, you know, I was under the impression that The Penguin would be a spin-off that would take place sort of simultaneously with the two Batman movies, because it was content that they didn't want to, you know, take up the movie by showing this whole, you know, rise to power with Penguin, because that would take up the whole movie. So they took it out and made it part of the show. But it's actually kind of a part two to the movie, making the Batman part two a sort of part three.
Yeah, because we're watching right after the Batman, and this is when Penguin rises.
And this is how it takes place. So it's, you know, the saying the sequel is gonna come because the show Penguin comes right after, 2 weeks after the movie. The sequel is gonna come right after the show. And so that's crazy. Now, it says blah 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 leading up to the Batman, Matt Reeves took his time crafting the screenplay and laying out the details of the new Gotham-centric TV series. As a result, as the final result spoke for itself, and Reeves will once again take an extended period to develop its sequel. 2 years after the first film release, Reeves now told Entertainment Weekly that he's finished writing the script for Batman Part 2 alongside co-writer Mattinson Tomlin. Moreover, the director says there's a period of time that the sequel will take place after the events of the Batman and its spinoff, The Penguin. Many speculate that Part 2 will take its epic crime story to the wintertime, but Reeves won't spill the deets. I can't tell you where it goes from there, except to say that we're super excited about it. In an interview with Collider, Reeves was asked about Greg Fraser's involvement, the Batman Part 2. Fraser served as the cinematographer for the first film, a vital architect to the universe's overall look and feel. It's clear that Reeves has every intention of bringing the Oscar-winning DP back to Gotham, but nothing is confirmed just yet. And what he says is, I don't know yet. I certainly hope that the timing will work out for that, but I actually don't know. We're not to the place where we know that yet. I hope that's the case, but I just love working with him. I think he's the best. Actually, he was a little bit involved in the series too. So that's why the series is seamless. Because I said I wanted to make sure the DNA was the same when we went off and found our own visual voice. So this is a little bit of a, I think, clickbait. There's really no reason to think that he's not going to be in it or be doing it. Reeves didn't say anything about him not doing it. He just says we don't know yet. We're just not at the place where we know that yet, which is fine.
It's phenomenal.
Beautiful.
Yeah, man. Shit. Like I say, I to me, the Batman movie is one of my top, if not number one, Batman movie to me.
Early.
Pattinson really came off as one of my favorite Batmans. Besides, of course, we got the legendary
Keaton.
Oh no, not Keaton. I'm going Adam West. I'm an Adam West Batman.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm an Adam West Batman, bro. I mean, I love Keaton too. Keaton is dope. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, no, that's dope.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm an Adam West Batman. That's the one I grew up with, first scene. So that's my guy.
Right.
But as far as if we're going to get into more of our age bracket, as far as what we were saying earlier, what we wanted to see in a rated R Batman,
yeah,
as compared to the modern day Batman with Affleck or Old Boy, Pattinson got it for me. He's the Batman. He's the Batman.
I mean, yeah, and I don't know if it mattered to me who played this Batman in this movie. To me, this movie was just so great. It could have been anybody playing Batman, almost anybody, of course. But not to take anything away from Pattinson.
He got the jawline too, man. He had that Batman jawline now. Come on. You gotta give it up. He got the Batman jawline.
It's not my favorite Batman look, but man, the movie just it makes it all fucking worth it. Like anything that I would complain about this movie is just overshadowed, and I don't even care because the movie is so good. And like you said, I feel sacrilegious saying that it's my favorite Batman movie, but like Batman 89 and this are like fucking neck and neck.
And then this Batman, and the other reason why I like it is because this Batman is not seen as a hero. He's not seen as the hero in this. He's not just seen as a guy.
Yeah, he's a vigilante. Crazy
vigilante taking on something that the cops can't do or won't do. He's just there. You know what I'm saying? The cops hate him.
They hate him.
They don't trust him.
They hate him.
You know what I'm saying? And the public don't know what to think about him, but he's doing a little something, but they don't know where to peg him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh shit.
Fucking Zippos don't go out when you drop them.
Yeah. So they don't know where to peg this guy, and they're trying to figure it. Everybody's trying to figure out the Batman.
And Andy Serkis as Alfred.
Yeah, come on.
Great. And
Yeah.
then, man, the Commissioner Gordon casting,
Come on. That guy alone
one of my
is
favorite
crazy.
actors, one of my favorite actors.
Jeffrey
And
Wright, yes.
yeah,
Jeffrey
Jeffrey,
Wright, man.
one of my favorite actors of all time, and really, like, I'm not a big fan of super gender swapping or race swapping characters in movies. I
Mhm.
think it's kind of like tokenism, and it's cheap, and it's almost offensive to me. I think it's silly, and I don't know what it's for, but like, um, I didn't even see this as like a race swap. Like, he just is Gordon. Like, it just it's fucking perfect. Like, to me, it's like he's always been Gordon. Like, it's
Yeah.
that good.
Mhm, mhm.
That's why it doesn't even seem like a race swap. It's that good. It
Yeah.
just seems like it's always been. Um,
Remember 89 who was Gordon?
mm.
Who was it? Who was Gordon in 89 Batman?
Old ass white man. I don't know that old British white dude. I don't even know his name.
Who I mean not Gordon, but I'm
You talking
saying
about Harvey Dent?
Harvey Dent. Who was
Billy
Harvey Dent?
D.
Billy
Billy
D.
D.
Williams was Harvey Dent. Oh, yo,
Word.
that bugged me out. I was
Imagine
like,
him as Two Face, dog. And he talked about being Two Face. He talked
yeah,
about that they talked about it. Like,
yeah,
it might have happened in the third movie, but the studio didn't want Burton to do the third one.
yeah,
And
and that
Keaton
was
was like, I'm out.
yeah,
Like, no question. He's like, if Burton's not doing it, I have no interest. I'm not doing it.
because
And
that's
he
his
quit.
boy. Like, come on now.
And the vision was very unique, and he knew that no one else could do what Burton did.
No,
Burton is very unique. He does his thing. It's very his thing. No one else can like replicate it. And we
exactly.
saw what Joel Schumacher did trying to replicate it. It was absurd. I think they're the worst Batman movies of all time.
Yeah, it's just
Uh,
too campy, too trashy to me. The
yeah,
dialogue was so off. It was like a junior script writer, not even a year into script writing, wrote it. Like
right.
it was just sloppy. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, they try to make up with having superstars acting it, but
right.
it was still sloppy. It made the superstars like, yo, that's a sloppy movie you was in, man.
Well, what happened? Yeah, because that's what the two movies were. Like, you had Nicholson and Keaton, and then the second movie you had Danny DeVito and Christopher Walken and
Script was rough.
uh Michelle
It was
Pfeiffer, right? It was
yeah,
crazy.
but the
So
script was there.
it
The
was
movie
nice.
season,
Great. I love Batman Returns almost better than the first one. Like, that's one of my favorite. I
yeah,
love Batman Returns. But the Clooney and the Val Kilmer one, yeah, they tried to follow that theme of having, Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones and Arnold Schwarzenegger and the
yeah,
biggest names that they could possibly get.
to
And
make up for the poor script. Yeah,
yeah, but it was like they were trying to redo what Burton did. They were trying to do it and copy it, and it was just, obviously a crash and burn to
I
me.
mean, it
It
may
was
have
horrible.
made money, but
Yeah, but that's only because it's a Batman and because of the names of the actors that were in it. Like, that was a ready, guaranteed thing,
yeah,
which I guess, man, they didn't have to try with the writing.
yeah. And those two last movies didn't age well either. So
Nope.
it's like you know,
Yeah.
even though even though Val Kilmer played a decent enough Batman where he was mysterious and stuff, but he wasn't truly Batman because we still had Keaton
Yeah.
on our minds. So,
Yeah.
like,
Man,
he
I
was,
think they would have put Val Kilmer at the end of the Batman if, he wasn't fucked up.
yeah,
Putting Clooney at the end was funny and shit, but I
yeah.
think Kilmer was
When
cool.
he came with that back credit card, I was like, all right, come on. Yo, that was it for me. I was like, all right,
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm
Yeah.
done.
Word.
Like, come on, you Batman, a bat credit card. You're supposed to be Batman. No one's supposed to know shit about you. Here you are showing a bat credit card,
Right.
and they really made those shits too.
The Bat card.
Yeah, as promotion for Visa promotion or something. They had a limited amount of them. I'm
Yeah,
like, come on, man.
yeah, that's cheap.
Yeah. He said, "What did the cop say? Freeze!" I'm like, man, come on.
Yeah, dog. I Stu loves it. Stu loves it. I can't understand it.
Shit,
I can't stand it.
that
But
shit is crazy.
man, I got some cool shit.
All right,
I got some cool shit in the mail
all right,
recently. Where is the? Uh-oh, here we go. All right, boom.
All right.
Check it out. Check it out. Boom.
Uh oh. Oh
This ain't,
shit.
this ain't Batman themed, but we jumping into the unboxings now. So if y'all want to see the unboxing, stay tuned. This is the Spider-Man 90s animated series
Hmm.
version of the character. You get a 2-pack. There we go. The Vulture and Spidey.
Yeah.
It's a obviously a different take on Vulture. He's like a younger dude with
Yeah,
tech
that's
and
me drink the serum and made him younger too.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what's cool is it comes with
Them wings are big as hell.
Falcon. The Falcon, the Marvel Legends Falcon is the same, has the same wings, but it comes with the old head.
Okay. Yeah,
So
because
you
that
can
that
switch it out.
it was a two-part episode where
Hmm.
he was draining people's youth to stay young.
Right.
You know what I mean? Through the suit. Oh, I believe it was through his suit because he had some type of
Hmm.
serum or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yep. Yep. And it's a great looking figure. It's really bright, really colorful.
Mm,
It looks just like the cartoon,
yeah.
and this is really dope. Let me get this brightness up. Bang, bang, bang. So the Spidey that comes with it, you got two heads, two options.
Okay.
Now the Spidey head, the suit head here,
Mhm.
is the first time Marvel Legends has put the eyes really nice and big like this.
Yeah. Like
They're
the
all
shoe.
yeah, the eyes are always really squinty and small. And so I'm loving that we got the big eyes on this. I could not fucking be happier with this figure. It's the only OG like basic like Spider-Man suit figure that I have.
Mhm.
And I always wanted an OG Spidey. And man, this could not be a cooler one. And what's cool about it is you have the headpiece here, or the maskless head, right?
Mhm.
And it comes with this cool ass little accessory,
Oh yeah. You can hold his mask.
like he took his mask off.
Mhm.
Dope is that?
Yeah. Dope.
And let me get that shit to focus one time.
Does he have wall crawling hands?
Yeah, he come with different hands and shit. He
Okay.
comes with the web spinner or the web slinger hands. He's got
Mhm.
the mask gripping hands. He's got fists and crawling hands that look like this.
Okay. Cool.
And then I have been wanting and needing a Doc Ock for hella time. And there's hella versions, but I don't like any of them. I definitely hate all MCU figures.
Mhm.
But I've always wanted like an OG Doc Ock, and I couldn't find one. And then they made one that came in a 2-pack with Silk, but I don't want that one. I don't really care for Silk, and it's hella expensive, and I don't want to pay all that money just for one Doc Ock.
They
Then I'm
get
looking on eBay, and I found that they have the same fucking Doc Ock without the Silk, and he's fat, and he has the bowl cut and the glasses, and he looks like the comic book version, and I couldn't be happier. Finally got it.
mm,
Finally fucking got an OG
that's
Doc.
without the cell shading. That's dope. Because
Love
remember
it.
the one where him and Aunt May came with the cell shading.
And the one with him and Aunt May, he's got a like a thin waist. He's more like because he comes in a I think he comes in an animated series 2-pack box like this with
Yes,
Aunt May.
Yes. Hmm.
And he's the more version where he's like more slim, trimmed down, more like a younger version, kind of like how he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I didn't want that. I wanted the fat, short,
Yeah.
stumpy comic version, and this is beautiful.
Yeah. He's dope.
Really, really dope. Really, really dope. Really, really dope. Let me move that. So, apologies. Let me get this out the way real quick as I can. I don't want to fucking hurt nothing now. Oh shit! Wait a minute. Let me drop that down. Let me lower this over here. Place that gently on the side. All right. Where we at? Let's jump into classified territory.
Oh snap! Oh schnizzle!
We got the Twilight Guard and the Steel Corps Commander.
Mm. Mm.
Actually didn't want this. Wasn't gonna buy it. Don't like things that weren't part of my 80s childhood.
Yeah.
This did not exist in my 80s childhood, so I didn't really want it. Don't let's just say it was a gift. Someone sent it to me. So we got it. Let's check it out. So I took it out the other day and it's really cool. Didn't really want it, but I'm glad I got it. Here's a little thing with some cool new blast effects that I don't have in any other figure yet, and a little knife.
Mhm.
So put that to the side. Comes with some more blast effects.
Mhm.
Wish I could get it to focus. Hold on.
Oh, the smoke effects. The oh,
Effects. Yep.
okay. The muzzle flash effect. Okay.
Yep.
Hmm.
There's a good one. He's got yeah. What? How many guns are in this pack? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guns and 2 dudes.
Yo.
Knife, sword, backpack, bullet belt, blast effect, blast effect, blast effect, smoke. Really, really cool blast effect. Oh, forgot this. 10 guns. There's a pistol right here. 10 guns, two pistols, M16 looking thing, sniper rifle, M60 looking joint, MP5 looking joint, submachine guns. Looks like a made up tech gun. Here's like a more
That's
another.
Duke's gun, I think from the original. Uh, looked like Duke's gun he had in the original set almost.
Oh,
From
the first wave.
yeah,
Right.
the Golden Wave.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking gung ho, but you might be right. And these guys, I've seen this helmet a lot that goes on guys, but this is actually not a helmet. It's his head.
Mhm.
So he doesn't have it doesn't there's nothing under it, like it doesn't come off.
Yeah.
That's his actual head. But he's a cool looking figure
Mhm.
with nice detail. There you go. He's got shoulder pads, big shoulder pads. He's got a couple of knife straps on his chest. He's got a holster around his backside on his waist there. He's got the two leg holsters on each side. And he's got a gold helmet
Mhm.
with like a bluish outfit with some green accents, his boots and
Steel
shit.
Brigade leader.
Right. Steel, yeah. And
Steel
for
Corps
classified,
leader.
yeah, classified, they call him Steel Core. And yeah, Steel Core Commander. And he's got a cool loadout right there of weapons. Now this dude, there was in GI Joe a classified or a Crimson Guard dude named like a Smoke
The shadow
shadow
troop.
guard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Shadow Guard.
right. Well, this is Twilight Guard. I guess they couldn't use Shadow
Mm.
for whatever reason, but he's got also like a little shoulder cape,
Yeah.
and he's black and purple. Got some different padding. It's pretty similar to the Crimson Guard suit. Look at that.
Mm.
The legs are different. Um, it's the same torso. The arms might be the same. And then of course he's got straps and plates and armor and shit that they've added on to him. Strips and straps. The cape is cloth, and it's got black on the outside, orange on the inside. He's got some orange trim on his shoulder pauldron there. And then he's got all these purple accents there, and like a gold visor piece.
Mm. Wow. Well, use of reuse.
Right. And that's another thing. Like I said, this is not one I would definitely, get. I'm not a fan of just repaint after repaint, but like I didn't fuck with the Tiger Force or the Python Patrol. Yeah, it just wasn't for me. I can't afford to buy every single fucking thing they make, of course. So that's one thing. And then of course the other thing is that I'm really into this for nostalgia. Like I'm not sitting on the floor playing with these. I don't need them to be. I don't care if it's a cool looking guy. If it's not someone I know, what's the point of putting it on my shelf for iconography?
Exactly.
Or nostalgia? Yeah, it just doesn't hit for me. But in and of itself, it's a really cool piece. If you if you guys are not into it for the same reason I am, it's a good figure.
Yeah.
Now this scratches the itch. Bomb.
Oh shit. There you go.
I've been waiting for these guys. I love the retro line. This is what I'm into it for. The packaging is fucking just so oh man, that scratches the itch. I mean that's G.I. Joe right there. You got the cards on the back. It only has a couple, but it would be cool if they had the whole lineup like they used to back in the day. I know what's his name? Lenny would do that if he could. But I wish the face looked more like the face on the cover.
Yeah.
This almost looks like a generic head they just found.
It's the same head from the
Same
other
head they've always used for Stalker.
Yeah.
And this is the same body, it's just painted different.
Yeah.
It's just same hat, everything. It's just painted different like the original, and just so cool, man. So cool. I love it. I love it because it's like the original.
Yeah.
And can't wait for them to send the Trooper and Cobra motherfucking Commander with the helmet, old school. Been dying for one of them. Because I didn't get the his tank, so I didn't get a Cobra Commander. There he is. I'm definitely gonna take him out of the box and set him up and everything, but not at the moment.
Yeah.
But he's got the sniper. He's got the silencer pistol. Yeah, with the stand. There's a submachine gun with the holster on his backpack. He's got his knife, and there's just a machine gun with a mini bullet chain drum. But yeah, he looks a lot like the original. I mean, that's what they're going for. He looks like the original Stalker, first OG, one of the original line from the very first set of characters, first wave they ever did.
Yeah.
Now here's the big piece.
Oh shit.
Blam.
You got him, Kang the Conqueror.
In his angry chair.
His time wielding chair.
And this thing is huge. It's a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. Wow, it matches my outfit. That was not intentional, y'all. Ain't that some shit? Wow.
Cass was on some Kang shit even then.
Word. But this is a big ass box. I did not expect it to be this big.
Mm.
But that's what's in it.
Yeah, it's dope. That's dope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he goes throughout time and space, ending up in different periods.
Mm-hmm. It says, yeah,
In the
Kang the Conqueror travels throughout time, altering timelines and threatening reality on a journey to become ruler of the universe.
yeah, Kane. Yeah,
Check out
they
those heads. Yeah.
kind of remind me of Manny Faces.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Dope. Dope.
Let's bust him open.
Oh,
Oh shit.
yes, sir. Oh, damn. Got the ox. He got the ox.
Kingpin got the ox.
yeah,
Here we go. Slide him out.
Oh, snap.
Now, yep. And same thing with Marvel. I'm into it for the same reason, nostalgia. So I like the OG looks. I do not have a single MCU character or figure. That whole shelf back there, hundreds of figures, no MCU figures. I don't like them. I have no interest in them. I just like the ones that look like the comics and the cartoons I grew up on.
Nice.
And he's dope. And that's not separate heads. Those are just face plates that swap out. Wow.
Oh, they say that. So they're going the route of what's that?
Like Mayfix or what you mean like figure arts or something? Or Yamaguchi?
No, the ones that do the Dragon Ball Z
Figure arts.
figure arts.
SH figure arts, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Man, this is cool. So this is definitely about to be the same size as that MODOK that I got. Probably taller.
Yeah. MODOK, serious piece.
Yeah, I love that MODOK. Really cool. There's the. Oh wow, it's got a nice weight to it. It's really got a nice weight to it. I like the texture. You hear how loud that sounded when I just sat it down?
Yeah.
It's got a real nice weight to it. It's not really hollow. I expected it to be hollow and shit. I mean, clearly it's hollow, but it's got a nice texture, definitely a nice like material that it's made of. It's not a real brittle plastic. It's not very brittle. And the base piece. And then there is a riser. Goes like that. Keys in there. And our chair's gonna go together like that. I wonder if our seat cushions need to go in first.
Oh yeah, you gotta wedge them in.
So the cushions might think like need to go in here. Yeah, they need to go in before I sandwich them together so they fit, so it fits behind the things like that. See,
Yeah.
slots in the side like that, and then you bring that together. There's a bottom piece as well.
I think that slides them together or whatever, keep the bottom to it together.
Hang on.
Yeah.
There's the chair slides right here. Seat cushion. Okay, so that has to actually go in after they're together. So this goes together first. Yeah, there's like pegs on this side, holes on that side. They just key in.
Nice.
Says
Yep.
it's a little track. Yeah, it's got a track that slides in on, locks in, and then he's got the base platform where he stands on. But I want to make sure there's another piece here. Let me see where this goes first. Just sort of bracket. Looks like it fits on there. Yeah. Okay, let's put that on first. See how that. Yep. And that locks in. Nice.
Hmm.
There's one more piece. It's like a step. Looks like stairs. Or something. Fuck does this go?
That's his panel. I think it's off from the armrest. Somewhere near the armrest. On the side.
It's a door. Or it's got a slide. Let me see where it goes. Oh, okay. So yeah, it goes. You see her under here? See that empty space?
Yeah.
This has to be under there like that.
Oh, okay.
It's peak. That's nice. I'm gonna have to take this all apart. Watch. But what I love about these toys, unlike my generation, was that when shit clicks together, it doesn't snap in and lock. That you can't take it. Back in the day, when you put a toy together, when you put them pegs in, you were not pulling them apart no more. Because that tab, once it goes in there and hooks behind, ain't no pulling it back out. You know the ones I mean? You would have to break the peg off.
All the O-ring G.I. Joe vehicles.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Fucking. So this is definitely an upgrade. Let me see where this goes or how it goes in. Oh wow, they're gonna really get funky with it. I got it. They really see. I don't know why we have to do all this, but we do.
You got to take the seat thing out.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Right. So yeah, you take it apart, you stick that in there like that, and you piece them together like so. Nice. Yeah, I mean that's great. Look at the detail. I mean that little piece. Hold on, just that piece being down there. That's attention to detail, covering gaps like that. And this little piece, it goes on to bridge another gap, fill another gap. Now that's a beautiful looking piece. And then, least but not last, the stand, which keys right up in here.
Oh, okay.
Blah blah. Ooh, way bigger than fucking way taller than MODOK, yeah.
Nice.
Very nice. All right, let's check Kang out. And I love this Kang because he is, comic, old school comic look, not MCU. He just looks like Kang from my childhood.
Yeah.
And wow, I love the way Marvel Legends has stepped their game up. I mean, if you collect Legends, you know what I'm talking about. The modern figures are phenomenally made, dude. I mean, I'm telling you, the quality is just, I can't really tell you how great it feels, how the joints feel, how everything feels, how it maneuvers. Just really well done. The plastic, the feeling of this sort of rubberiness. I mean, just really just well made, man. I can't say enough. And he's got some accessories and some extra hands. Let's see what he's got. So here's oh wow, he's got a cool blast effect and a rifle.
Yeah.
All right, so first he's got these kind of hands. There's like a sort of claw, and then here's like a gun. holding a pistol holding hand, and then he's got a pistol.
Okay.
Fits nicely in the hand. So let's put that on. Let's take this hand out. Take that fist out. Put this hand in. Because I want to see what his rifle does. So he had that pistol. He's also got a big ass. So what Kang's known for, guys, is he time travels and he goes way into the future and gets weaponry that we can't deal with in our time, and he brings it back here and rules the world with it, kind of thing. That's his goal. And then here's one of his futuristic blasters and some weird effect coming out of it. Some futuristic blast that he's known for. This is a pretty big gun. I'm not. This would be a real pain in the ass to put into his hand. The way that trigger's made. Look at that wide ass gun. That is gonna be real hard to get into that hand. Real hard. Not really worth it. I'll probably set this gun up next to the chair, and he'll stand up on the podium. But here he is. He can stand up on his platform there, or he can sit in his chair. Let me pose him up real cool. Put his pistol in his hand.
Dope.
You're fucking with the wrong one, son.
You fool! You think you can go to the future and destroy Kang? I do not think so.
Yeah, nice. Man, what a nice piece. And then the faceplate. Let's see how easy that is to take off. So you reach up under his chin and just pull forward. Out pops the head, a la Manny faces.
Yeah, man.
And I remember these faces that he comes with too. I don't remember what stories or anything like that, but I definitely remember this weird shit as a kid. Man, that's weird. That's creepy looking.
Yeah, that was the face before he fully engulfed himself in technology.
He had his eyes like eyelids peeled open.
Yeah.
And then this was some shit.
Yeah, that looks crazy.
What happened here?
It's the mask of his breath mask or something. I forget what it was.
No, that's an alien head.
Oh, let me see. Oh yeah, that's because Kang, he can put on. He got millions and trillions and billions of Kangs in different billions of universes. So that's
okay. So it's a different, it's a different universe.
Yep.
Okay, it's a multiversal Kang.
Yep.
Man, this thing is fucking peak.
Crazy, crazy, crazy.
Yeah, man. King the Conqueror.
Yeah, I really am impressed with this chair, Marvel. This chair is like the quality of it, the material, like the weight of it, um, the material not being brittle. I expected it to be really hollow and brittle, like toys would be when I was a kid. It's not at all like that. It's modernized, just like the figure is. It's got all accessories. There's little hands and heads and faces and gun.
Mm.
Packaging, incredible, incredible packaging.
Dope, dope, dope. Yeah. Yes, sir.
And that's it for that. Here you can see how this is gonna look.
Oh, okay. Little by little.
Yeah,
Nice, nice,
once it focuses, there we go.
nice. Hmm.
He's gonna be dope. Chromed out.
Crom.
Crom. Oh shit, man. What was
Yeah.
I gonna show? Yeah, I was gonna show a bunch of Batman comics and stuff like that, but we kind of ran late, guys. It's like already 9:30. So yeah, man. That was a great show, man. It's Batman birthday, Batman born day. Salute 85 to the man. Go
Yeah.
see the Penguin show. It's really, really good.
Yep. Yep. The
Can't
best
wait.
that's running now.
I think it's the best comic show that we've gotten so far.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Go to the year.
Yeah, man. All right, y'all. That's our show. So we'll check you guys out. We'll see you guys. What Wednesday? Well, we got a great show Wednesday, so we'll see you then. And stay safe and all of that good stuff. And
Yeah.
I leave in the way that I greet and say peace.
Peace.